Good day, good night, good afternoon, good
I don't
morning,
know. We're
and
kind of
good
feeling
afternoon.
it.
Yeah, Janina, we're getting close to that 30-second mark, okay?
Okay.
I love it. You messed up, Janina. You were so good last week.
Exactly. You were supposed to hit the intro in the middle, okay? You can't start at the beginning, Janina.
I'm sorry. I like the
Anyway,
beginning.
good day,
I
good
love
evening, good night, good afternoon, and good morning, and welcome to another exciting episode of Real Tennis Fans, a live podcast. Today's a live cast, and welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
And before I go any further, let me introduce my co-hostess with the mostesses. We have Andreen from Solely Tennis Travel. I know you went out of your house today, Andreen, so that we will count as traveling.
I did. I traveled
property,
to the park. I traveled to the park. I actually traveled to an external restaurant and had some brunch outside with my mask. That was interesting. And now I'm happy to be back on lockdown inside my house.
Just in time for us. Yeah. So you're already drinking or you're drinking still?
No, I'm about to start drinking later. I was very good. I'm just coffeeed up for you right now.
And we have Janina from far in Ohio. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? It's fucking cold, and I too left the house today and went to a hockey tournament where they lost.
I mean, you sports mom. I don't know. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a great day.
Let me just say, I'm so happy I chose not having children in life, because I've been like, look, y'all need to find something quiet in a corner. I can't do this activity outdoor, running up and down, burning energy. And they're going to say, Dad, you watch a lot of sports. That's exactly what I do. I watch it in the comfort of my home. Can you play the match in the living room? No, you cannot. So can we figure that sport out, Janina? Can we figure that out, Janina? Sport where they're in your living room or in the backyard at least.
Cards.
No, I don't. Listen, I don't. I currently
poker. They make a lot of money.
Synthetic ice in the middle of my living room. I don't. It's not a good thing.
What?
Dear Lord, you all. If it's not hockey, it's soccer. I can't take it.
Are you hosting the Olympics in 2022? You hosting the Olympics next year, because that's what Beijing is doing. They ain't using synthetic ice. So. We have a lot of guests. We have a lot of listeners. But before we introduce our guest, who is our audio stripper, because according to all of the ladies who were listening, and they were like, and men, we're equal opportunities here. They were all gaga for Pablo. So we welcome him back all the way from across the pond in jolly old England somewhere, I believe. How are you doing today, Pablo?
Y'all. I'm fine.
No, Pablo. That's not what the ladies want, Pablo. No, come on, Pablo. Don't be a letdown, okay? Don't have a fifth step letdown, okay?
Okay.
Get that voice together. Bridgerton. Think of that. Think of sense and sensibility, Mr. Darby. Mr. Darcy, okay? Come on, let's think of it. Let's try it again. Welcome our foreign guest.
Yeah. Okay, off you go.
Pablo.
Go on. I'm frightfully well, thank you.
Oh, I love it.
Right.
See? We're going. So let me introduce the people. We have Tony. we have Zenobia. We have Monk Girl 1. We have Deb, of course. We have Mr. Prodigy 555. Your girl Vanda Silva is trying to do Makita, is trying to get some things going, but she got assaulted. We knowing her name more and more at each major, so that's a good thing. All the other times it was just like Daniel and Makeda, and just all of a sudden now Makeda is a fixture for maybe second week, at least getting to the third round. So for her. So folks, how are your draws looking? I mean, some of them might have been dismantled, but
a hot mess.
But I have to say though, our Black History Month, Black with a Vengeance, people of color were showing up and showing out. They were all for having a good time in Melbourne this time. In the real Melbourne, all of these other sideways tournaments, I mean, someone's getting a check, but I can't keep up. So I'm getting confused. So I'm only concerned about the Australian Open in Melbourne. That's all it is for me. We're just doing that. So how have your drawers look?
My drawers are clean.
Well,
But are you wearing any? That's the question. Are you wearing any?
No,
That is the most important question.
I followed instructions. I'm just sitting here in my satin dressing gown, nothing else.
Oh.
Bless. No, I mean,
ready for my OnlyFans account.
I know. Oh gosh, I crossed out all of my wrongs with like a blue pen.
Okay.
So there's a lot of blue markings all over my drawer.
Okay. Well,
Particularly
that's
on the
good.
women's side. I was severely wrong on the women's side, and
I
a little
mean,
bit on
as
the
as is one to do.
listen.
You
The
get
only
far
one
more-
that kept me solid are is Osaka and Serena.
Well, I mean, as they want to do.
whew,
But
listen.
the women always have like, they always mixed bag. They're always here for lights out tennis one day and then knock out the next day. So we're happy with that.
But the women's draw has been uncharacteristically clear cut so far. Most of the people making it into third or fourth round
Yeah.
have done it straight set wins, not your usual double UTA mess. But there's nobody really who's struggled to get into the third or fourth round who's there now.
I mean,
And some, go ahead. Sorry, Andrew.
no, go. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at your.
But the struggle was in the fourth round for most of them, except surprise.
I
Well,
think
no.
some of the best matches, were I think third round. So I think the Vekic Kanepi match. I think Naomi and the Matadora got to be in yeah.
Mugs.
Yeah, mugs.
I think I like your nickname better.
And of course,
Shea
Serena and Sabalenka was a bit of
Sabalenka.
a.
That was fourth round. Yeah.
That stressed me
Actually,
out.
That
yeah,
third
actually,
round match.
It did. Before we get to that, though, there is a second round match that it's probably worth noting because it was the only one that where the winner really had problems, which was Halep versus Tomjanovic.
Yeah.
And Alia
Oh
Alia
yeah.
had her chances. She really did, and she's
Isn't
had her
she
chances
always-
before. But she's an, I don't want to say choker because that's not fair. Or maybe it is. I don't know. But several occasions she's got herself into winning positions against good opposition.
But is it
and she
true?
hasn't close out. Is it true?
That she's a choker.
She is, isn't she? I mean,
Well, I mean, I think she has been. Well, she was supposed to be a very good talent, and then injury came along, and then Nick came along, and then she tried to come back, and then Nick was still along, and then she got rid of Nick and got Berrettini, and then there's been some sort of movement, but of course, the momentum and that may have gone. So
I don't even blame that. She has moments. None of those things happened when she was in.
I mean, right? She does have moments, but like I said,
right?
Right, but I don't know. She doesn't stick around long enough. Like she.
Listen, we
can't
can
keep
always
any
count on seeing her
sustain.
in Australia. She should be like Kai Kanepi, show up in
That's
Australia only to get wins.
yes.
Pick your moments, right? Show up at the majors.
That was my disappointing
She
match.
definitely-
I have to say. Kanepi and Vekic.
Which one?
That was cool. The Kai Kanepi Vekic match. I think Kai should do that match.
Well, a lot of those matches, I mean, a lot of matches, people definitely had this stranglehold around their opponent and then lost it. I mean, in the third round, Irani and Shea, Shea Shuei. Irani had that match kind of tidied up a little bit, and then all of a sudden, Irani didn't have that match.
Something that we have to say something about Irani.
What?
Firstly, I
do?
couldn't. I did watch, but I didn't want to watch Irani playing Venus. That was it was a combination of jaw-droppingly awful and life-affirming in the way that Venus just tried to plug on and do her thing. And I don't understand why, because she was injured. She should have just called it a day. But okay. Irani is taking...
She doesn't do that.
I know she doesn't. She doesn't quit. And that's why I say it's life-affirming. And then she comes out with that statement afterwards, and you just think, my God, how lucky they are to have people like her. But Iran, you know what I'm like about the rules, especially serving and the time between serves. Iran is taking 45, 50 seconds between the end of the point when the score is called and actually hitting a serve. She's having 3 or 4 goes at it, and she should be fucking penalized for it. Because, and I'll explain why I think this is okay, I'll go off on for 1 minute. I'll explain why I think it's important and why it's also important when Rafa does it as well. It's the one thing I hate about, the only thing I hate about him. The opponent sets up, and they don't just set up physically, they set up psychologically, and it'll be related to their breathing patterns and stuff like that. They then have to break that and set up again. And quite often, when Raf is fiddling around, or when Irani can't get a ball toss in, the local fly zone,
True.
The person has had to set up. Yeah, they've had to set up 3 or 4 times, and it disrupts rhythm. And it's very unfair on them. And if she can't get the ball over the fucking net, she should just concede the point.
Can you imagine that disaster?
Well, no, that's the whole point. The difficulty is she does it on first serve and she does it on second serve. On first serve, there's a serve clock. The way they're working the serve clock at the moment is they'll stop it as the player starts their backswing. They don't. The 25-second rule is not being applied properly at the moment. The 25-second rule says from the dead of the previous point, so from the last moment of the previous point to the beginning of the server's backswing, shouldn't be longer than 25 seconds. That's the rule. What we've got now is from the moment the umpire calls the score, the shot clock is started. So they're getting an extra, on average, 5 or 6 seconds. Sometimes it's longer. So they're getting much more, and a lot of them are running it down. But Irani is getting down to 4 or 5 seconds. Up goes the ball toss. It's usually in the tram lines, and she has to go and catch it and do it again. So she's going over her 25 seconds. She should be penalized. It's as simple as that.
But I thought the umpires were allowing them some grace period because they're going for their towel.
Well, I mean, does that actually really
No. They're told at the beginning of each match, you don't get extra time for picking up your own towel.
Yeah, I know, because I think Serena was talking about how she felt like she was running back and forth to get stuff, and then sometimes she wouldn't catch her towel because it was too much time, and she's like, I only have 25 seconds to do this.
But they are compensating for it because they're calling the score later. So they are giving them 5-6 seconds, extra that they wouldn't normally have. So Irani, so the shot clock stops the moment Irani's arm goes up, or she starts a backswing. She catches the clock again, and they don't let the clock continue running because it should really be when she successfully serves. And it's bad. It's just bad. And then of course she misses the first serve, and she goes to the second serve. Now there's no shot.
So do we think she's doing that intentionally?
No, it's Irani. Of course she's doing that.
No, it's not. She can't serve for toffee, really. I mean, she's just, you've seen it. I mean, it's extraplanetary where her ball goes.
Well, I mean, but
it's like a moon. It's like an extra moon orbiting.
But she's not required to. Sarah's had a pretty
that's the other thing. She's not required to.
With a non-existent serve, so clearly it's all good.
It's effective, right? Yeah. I mean, like she got to the third round of a major.
Yeah, I mean, all the players do it, and it's fine once or twice, but it is a regular part of her service rhythm. She has to have 2 or 3 goes. And it is unfair on the opponent, so I think they should enforce the shot clock on her. Now, a difficulty arises when you get to the second serve, because there isn't a shot clock, but the rule is clear. The rule says the second serve should be immediate, and it never is. And you would have people like Maria who would take 20 seconds to set herself up.
Player yesterday, they were doing that. She had that same issue. I was watching a women's match yesterday or the day before where she was Well, the problem was she was taking forever on her second serve, which was causing even more horrors for her. I don't remember who it was.
Do you remember who it was?
Okay, we should move on.
It was
anyway,
hard to beat.
Yeah. Anyway,
it was hard to beat.
It's taking as long as Arani.
Okay.
So let's move it forward. Like let's keep going with the matches. I mean, that actually was basically an indication of how we should call things. Like, that's out. It's time to move on, Sarah. Let's just keep going.
Yes, exactly. Shut him up.
The umpire just says that. Sorry, it's a fault. We're moving forward.
Okay, girl. Enough. Basta.
So what's been disappointing thus far? I think matches that ended with a whimper instead of a bang. Definitely Coco and Svitolina for me, even though I saw none of it.
Yes. Agree.
I watched the whole thing.
Ooh, how was it?
The whole damn thing. And somehow Coco made Svitolina. Well, it was stupid. Coco made Svitolina look like this fucking powerhouse, badass bitch that she's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like Coco could have played so much better. Svitolina got every damn ball back, which is not unusual for her. She didn't make reckless errors at all. But it just, I don't know. I expected that match to be a lot better than it was. A lot tighter. I mean, it wasn't a blowout. Coco just made big errors on big points. So, that never bodes well in tennis, but God, she made Svitolina look damn good, and she's not that good. Yvette said Svitolina served really well. She did serve really well, but I don't know. Coco, I really think that on a better day, Coco could have taken that match.
Was that
I think Coco
pre-crowd?
has like fundamental technical. Was that? I'm sorry.
No, I was asking. Was that pre-crowd? Was that a crowded match? Was that a crowd match?
Yeah, that was a crowded match.
Yeah, it's the second round.
But I think what happened with I know she was playing on the same court. The people were there. She played on the same court. She played the first round match. But I think remember we discussed she has technical issues with her serve and the forehand. It's like off.
Oopsie. We've lost you, Reels.
That country man, it's like
Coco is overhit.
I do. Hello.
Yeah. We lost you for a little bit. We didn't hear what you said.
Okay, right. I think Janina just pointed it out. Like, she's overhitting, and I think she thought that she was facing Svitolina in the second round, and this was a big match, and that got to her.
I mean, Svitolina? Has she heard about Svitolina?
The thing with Svitolina is, firstly, I agree. Coco's been over-pressing. So I'm not sure about overhitting, but she's trying to manufacture the end of points in a way that she always did, but she didn't do it all the time. Now I see a lot more of it creeping in, where she's trying to put shape on balls and things that just it's not working. But the thing with Svitolina is a machine. Yeah, and she doesn't have any outstanding shots really, but she reminds me very much of Caroline.
Yes.
Yes, it was Wozniacki. She gets everything back. She's as fit as a fiddle. And it's very, very difficult to break her down. Now, I thought, actually, if we go back to, I think it's 2019, the US Open, when Serena played her, and Serena basically gave a masterclass on how to take Svitolina apart. And it was superb. And Svitolina looked
basic.
Rubbish. Yeah, absolutely. Serena just nailed everything. Got her running, gave her very little time, very quick, lots of half volleys played from near the baseline, and just took time away from her. And that's the thing. You disrupt the rhythm of Svitolina, which is her. She doesn't have knockout serve or ground strokes, but her consistency and her rhythm is a major asset. And I Coco, go back and look at that tape.
Asking her to do Serena, but I think did Serena?
No, sure.
No, I know. Did Serena do the same thing to Svitolina at Wimbledon? Who was it that made Svitolina look basic at Wimbledon?
Could have been at Wimbledon as well. Remember also that Serena lost to Svitolina in a dreadful match at the Olympics. Yeah.
Yes, that's the Svitolina moment in the sunshine.
Yeah.
She didn't even win the medal. Girl.
Yeah, you have to boss her around. And very interestingly, her next opponent, Jen, is somebody who can boss the ball about.
I think so. That's my sense of that too, is that that big serve, not a lot of rallies, just get it done. That's what I thought Coco would try to do.
Yes.
But if Jen keeps the ball, if Jen doesn't keep the ball in,
I think Coco tried too hard to do that.
Did she?
Yeah, she's overpressing.
Yeah.
We see that in her recent matches. I think she is trying to finish things too early, trying to manufacture the end of points when.
Well, I think maybe people told her that. Maybe people told her that she's letting other people control her game, and that she wants to be much more of the aggressor and step in and control her points better. Because I mean, that when you first encounter Coco, it was like the scrambler, right? She was very scrappy out there. I think she's trying to shake that up a little bit. But then I think they've done something wonky with her forehand.
And serve, yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on with it. It goes off.
Hopefully she has time to get there, because being 17, like we can give her time.
Yeah,
we're not in the 1990s. We're not in the 1990s where we would have expected a major from her right about now.
She will get there, but get her an A-lister coach.
Mount said that Halep is the one who blitzed Svitolina Wimbledon 2019, and Halep was blitzing everybody.
Right.
Thank you. Because I was watching it live, and I was like,
pointed it out too.
I think it was blinking. I was blinking. I was like, what's going on? I felt sad. It was humiliating. But then again, sorry. She also did the
another
in the finals, so just
another disappointing. I didn't find it disappointing. I found it inevitable. Was Andreescu.
Oh yes. Well, that was to be expected, no?
Yeah, exactly. I think people piling pressure on her to do well.
Her.
She hasn't played, and
she hasn't played in forever.
Yeah,
no, exactly.
She's been in like 18 months.
But
basically.
Also, did you see the note she released afterwards? It's full of typos.
She spoke to Ostapenko. I was just like, girl. I mean, I thought that was the biggest type.
No.
You spoke to Ostapenko.
Well, it convinced me.
What was it?
No. Sorry, it's Kenan. Kenan is speaking to Ostapenko. It's Kenan. It's speaking to Ostapenko. Sorry.
The note telling everybody to chill and relax and heal the planet or whatever. I don't know, something like that. But it convinced me that family is in a cult.
Oh my God, I can't stop.
No, really. You know
what it is though. I think the WTA constructed a narrative around BB, and I think, listen, she may not deliver. She may just be one of those one-hit wonders.
Yeah, like Ostapenko.
I mean, yes,
and she's not fit. She's not fit. She's not fit at all.
I mean, listen, if I were her and I was hanging out in the
pandemic,
pandemic, she's like, listen, I'm not.
Deb just said that she's not fit. I mean, but she wasn't fit when she won.
Exactly. That was the problem.
No, but I mean, this time around,
listen, I'm seeing far too many people come out of this pandemic looking unfit.
That's fine. What have they been doing? They're hanging out in their houses.
But I mean,
who clearly was
2 years ago when she won, she could lay into the ball or something like that. But now she's out of shape. And you could see that she doesn't have the match fitness.
Come out looking like Serena. You should come out looking like Serena.
Yeah, Serena's abs.
but I mean, a lot of athletes, special circumstances were being made for athletes. So athletes really can't. I mean, they may not get their full training, but all athletes, particularly winter athletes, but summer athletes, they have been getting some training done. I mean, so I'm not going to say pandemic is the full reason, because a lot of people, I've seen a lot of athletes have access to gyms outside doing something. So Canada was not on that crazy lockdown. So Pablo, your story might hold some credibility.
That was to be expected for Andreescu, though. She was already injured. She probably didn't practice a lot. She had already said something along those lines too, right?
Yeah, and she's injury prone, so give her time to
she was ready.
No, I mean, well, she clearly wasn't.
But she said quite the opposite. She said she was ready. She said she was ready. She said, even though she pulled out of the tournament last week or the week before.
You know who wasn't ready?
Vika.
Sophia Kenin.
Oh, talking of one-hit wonders.
Oh,
you know what? Okay, can I just say I saw her press conference and
we expected a lot from her.
I don't know why she thought so. I thought that was really strange that they were. That press conference was odd because I mean I know she was the defending champ, but even her winning was out of the blue. So the idea that there had been this narrative buildup around her, let's be honest, nobody built up a narrative around her. That was all in her own head, right? Like, I don't really remember see a special about her. Nobody was like, who's going to defend their title? So I would have been like, girl, you're under the radar. Everyone's looking at Serena for 24.
And Andreen, her management agency chucked her out.
Did they? Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's true. She has new management.
Oh, no.
They told her to get lost.
The fashion shoot, they advised against it, and she went ahead.
No, it's they because of her the way that she runs her things, or not her, but her family run things, and they just said, "Get the fuck out of here. We're not representing you anymore."
I could have told.
Now, for an agency to do that, that's big news. Normally, you have to have committed murder or something, or
in her case, it was out of the top 100. I think it was a fashion faux pas. Might have been the hair slick hair. The oil slick hair might have done it. No,
maybe somebody read her father's statement and was just like.
But also, Kenin lost this week again. She entered into the other tournament in Melbourne, and there's an Australian qualifier. Yeah.
Oh, Mont Girl had a statement. She put out, due to difficulty with the athletes' environment, top 5 management has decided not to extend its collaboration with Sophia Kenin. And she said the photo shoots, oh my God, trash. We agree. Maybe this.
Although I felt a certain kind of way in the press conference.
Steph, those are so bad. So bad.
So yeah, I think it was sad, the press conference, because I was like, girl, I think you put a lot of
that part of my draw is Shit City.
Where Kenin is?
I was surprised Vika went out early. We didn't even mention Vika. I mean,
let's not even mention Vika. Was Vika feeling faint? See, that was Vika 1.0. That was Vika 1.0. She's back.
Oh, Vika, I thought you would have made some noise. Hey, coming off of the heel of another US.
I don't think I have anybody correct in this part of my draw.
Well, I had Sloan, and Sloan showed up.
Who's doing that? I mean, Bree told you not to fake Sloan.
I mean, it was Black History Month. I was honoring Sloan, but I wasn't wrong about Brady. So,
but truth and reconciliation we shall do in Black History Month.
Oh God, truth and reconciliation.
Sloan follow that up with another loss in the other tournament as well. And I mean, I get it. I know a lot of things is going on in her life, but she's a confidence player. She gotta get rolling. She has to be on she has to get momentum. But she says in a lot of times she turned around and said, I'm fine. So I don't know. It's pretty rough.
I didn't see her press conference. But who saw any of the Jessie Pegula matches? I didn't see any of her matches, sadly.
I saw them. Some of those. And she's bashing her opponents off the court.
Well, that's always good. I was about to say
she was stripping clean off the court, but I mean, we can go with Pablo's definition. She's boss. She's bullying them around the court. Like she had this.
She's gonna play. So she's the one that's playing Svitolina.
Yes, and she hasn't dropped a set either. So
Svitolina, you better come correct for that match. I'll look forward to seeing that one. I haven't. That's
maybe
the one for today.
She can bash Svitolina right off.
Yeah,
but Svitolina is aware.
Svitolina and Gail can go cry together.
But Svitolina is aware that players are going to try to out-hit her off of the court, but still yet she survives. The problem for Svitolina is not the opponent across the net. It's herself in the second week of a major. That's where she trips up over herself.
I mean, I'm sure she would rather
acquit
face
herself with,
Pegula than Vika, so I'm sure she's happy about that turn of events. It's both new for them.
Because yeah,
So
I was surprised Benchit lost early.
Oh, she was horrible.
I thought she would
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
I just always expect. I always expect Svitolina to self-destruct.
Yeah. Can I just say I was
Second
watching
week.
the benches. I was watching the benches.
I never trust Svitolina ever.
Yeah.
And Chrissy was like, "Oh, I don't know why Benchich." She's like, "I think I know why Benchich is struggling. This is a girl that plays very similar, but just a little bit better." She's. And I was like, "How cruel! How cruel are you, Benchich? You're just like a little bit better than Elise Mertens." But I was like, "Ouch!" But yeah, I mean,
talking about that girl should have won this match because Netsova should have been in the second round, or the third round.
Oh my God, I watched that, of course. That just pissed me
messy.
off. Sveta fought so hard to get herself
to
back
only trip
in
over
that
herself,
match, and then she turned into Sveta. Whatever.
I had no.
She should probably just go do a photo shoot, and Kenan should watch.
Yeah, she did.
That outfit didn't belong there.
Nice.
Oh, you know what? We've been on the ladies. Let's talk about some of the other matches before we
trashy.
On it.
They all look trashy, but
her
we're
hair.
not there yet.
I always judge Sveta on her hair. If her hair is right, I know she could change her clothes.
How was her
hair? Was I think she pressed it out or straightened it. She looked really nice.
Oh.
You can
pulled
see
up
it come together
right now.
Yeah.
She had it in a bun. How can you even say that? I don't know. She's got
I'm watching different
hair. That's
things
what
than you are watching Janina. You're not watching her above her neck, Janina. Let's be honest. You're not.
She called you. She called it.
Shut your mouth.
Wait. Before we move on from the women, y'all, let's talk about the powerhouse matches from yesterday, because you know how the overcompensation goes. Oh my God, the WTA had an amazing day. It was an amazing day. So let's talk about the matches. Were you all feeling yourselves during the
first of all,
match?
We didn't.
Kind of really did.
They stole another match.
So let's talk about.
Wait, you two decide which one's going.
Okay, I'm going to start with Gabs and Osaka. I had no doubt Osaka was going to win this match. No doubt. No matter whatever the score line told me, unless they said game set match Gabinia, I was like, Osaka's going to win this match. In fact, I predicted she was going to win the match when she lost the first set. I was just like, well, no, I'm going to win this match. No, I'm not being mean.
Is that a testament to Muggs, or is that a testament to the power of Osaka right now, that you just think she can turn?
It's both things, because one of the things I've noticed about Osaka as of late, really, you remember, Andre, you and I watched a match with her actually the year she won the US Open. She played Sabalenka, and she was a hot mess on the court. Yes. And then Sabalenka was in the match. And the minute she just stopped and she just like, I don't need to behave this way. Like,
Yep.
Exactly.
It's me being rude and carrying on. It's not going to change a point, right? I just need to focus on my tennis.
Yeah,
and it was the same thing in the US Open.
Yeah, she could be Nole-esque, where they just turn the match on a dime.
And she's the kind of person where you can't read energy from her. Like if she's still, you can't read whether she's excited or happy. And Gabin. I mean,
no,
Gabin,
when she decides to step it up, she has the ability, and when she decides to step it up, there's nothing is going to stop her. And it's exactly what she did against Garbiñe, and it's exactly what she did in the other matches, and in the US Open, when she said, "Fuck this, I'm not."
Exactly.
It's like, why am I playing basics? Why am I playing basic tennis when I could step in the court and take this match over?
And I think particularly against Muguruza, when Naomi decided to step it up, I don't think she lost. I don't think she had an unforced error from that point on, and she just nailed it. She didn't waver. She locked in like an exocet missile, and she just went for it. And who else in the WTA can do that?
Aside from Serena,
aside from Serena, who else is able to literally in the middle of a halfway through the second set is able to say, Serena's the only one.
2000. Venus back in 2000.
Oh yes,
I'm showing my age.
You know who used to be able to do that? Vika in 2011.
So
during that Vika period, Vika used to do that in a match. She could turn a match
And
around.
the other thing for Garbine, the unfortunate thing for Garbine is that Osaka was not a Williams sister, so she's gonna lose that plot at some point. She's like, gonna lose that plot real quick.
Sorry, go ahead, Gina.
Oh my god!
But there is something
I was
about.
totally thinking that. So I didn't see. I didn't see the whole match. I caught it when Osaka, I think she saved a couple match points, then she broke, and then she went on to win. That's all I got to see of it. However, when I tuned into it, I thought Osaka's going to win this match because Muggs will self-implode or Osaka will just step it up because Muguruza was clearly already playing top level. She didn't have anywhere else to go. I mean, she looked good, and the points that I saw were really solid. You know,
the problem
started doing us with looking on, and she's sister thought.
We're getting like every other word of you, Janina.
Okay, then I'll butt in.
Yeah, sorry.
Garbiñe comes into these matches like a matador, and she ends up like the bull at the end of it in some of them. Really, she deflates. And okay, Naomi stepped it up, but Garbiñe started spraying balls.
Yeah.
And it just, you feel she can't hold it together.
Yeah, the Love 40 game.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
those were all errors. Those were just all her errors. It was just like there was nothing that I don't think it was anything Osaka did particularly well in any of that game for her. It was just all her. Mm-hmm. It's all on her. So there's something that happens at Muggs. Maybe.
Well, I think one of the reasons I should add why I felt that Naomi was going to win this match is that typically when Garbiñe is on, she runs away with the match. Mm-hmm. She has to take a swift lead. You know, she knows when she takes down Venus and Serena in particular, is that she has to be, it can't be 6-4. If it's 6-4, she won a set 6-4. No, she's not in it. She's walking that very tight line, as Pablo points out. Like she can't sustain it. I don't know if it's a match fitness, but I don't know if Garbiñe is not the kind of person who could like Naomi and Serena, just like focus on tennis and then just get the techniques flowing. She has to be one of those players who quote unquote feel like they're in the zone, and then don't know how they get into the zone and get out of the zone, and then there's all kind of problems for her because she doesn't know how to get back to sort of like basic. So I don't trust her. I mean, again, Kenin won a major off of her, and it was a 3-set. I'm just saying because I mean, come on, if anyone else had that opportunity, you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't have let Kenin get away with it, particularly in 3 sets. I mean, look at Ash Barty. She had Van der Silva, and she was just like, "You think I'm playing 3 set with this girl? No, I'm running with this." But I mean, like this is. I mean, I'm just saying that Garbiñe was in a final, and it wasn't a Williams sister. It was supposed to be 6 Love and Love.
Yeah,
she handled the Williams sisters far more efficiently. So I'm just saying, Garbiñe, get yourself together. I don't know if Conchita is the coach for you, but I don't think Tumik definitely is not the coach for you. You don't need to return to that mess. You need to find a happy medium somewhere else. But you need to get yourself together.
So let's head to the Sabalenka Serena match. I came home just in time to catch it.
I'm just gonna say, again, I had no doubt that Serena would have won this match, but I felt the psychic energy of my timeline. Y'all are weighing me down. I swear to God. Y'all are just weighing me down. I mean, like, I had a friend texting me. I'm just like, can you breathe now? He's just like, no. If the Serena won the second set, Serena got broken in the third set. He said, "No, I can't breathe." I'm just like, he's just like, I'm really nervous. I'm just like, he just like, I just need Serena to win 24. Apparently, 23 wasn't enough for y'all, so I don't think 24 is going to matter. I don't think one was going to matter.
I have to say, I felt the
didn't
same
expect
way.
it to be so tight. That's as much as I would say. I knew Serena would win, but I didn't expect it to be so tight. But
no, the only
Serena.
tightness had nothing to do with Sabalenka, unfortunately, which sounds horrible, but it was really Serena.
Right.
Like the second set, losing her serve. What was it? What was she at? 29%?
36%, I think, for the set.
For the set, right? But early on, when I
No. She
won the first set. She lost the second set. That's what I got wrong. Yes.
But you know what I kept thinking to myself? Did you all know what was going on with her serve? I couldn't tell what had happened. Like I kept looking at it, going, "What's gone off?" Like I could not see why she was doing so poorly, because it's not as if Sabalenka was taking a particularly aggressive return stance or anything. Like I was just like, "What's happened here?" It was just like a timing issue.
Okay, I think on the first serve she just lost rhythm.
Yeah,
and then what Sabalenka was doing was Sabalenka planted herself on the baseline, right on the baseline, not just behind it, but right on it. And I think that was a problem. So hence we had something like 8 double faults, and that's always Serena does that whenever her opponent gets aggressive on the second serve return. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but this is a touch of what we were just talking about with Naomi. Serena decided in the third set, no fucking way am I losing to this bitch. And I've had enough of her screaming.
Oh my God. Can we talk about the screaming? It was ridiculous. Like, why wasn't that called a hindrance? It's
in hindrance territory because she also it's manufactured. It's manufactured because it varies in pitch, in range, in velocity, in duration, and in strength. It's all over the place, and sometimes she forgets. So she'll hit shots. Like I pointed out, there were 2 consecutive shots, so she didn't make a peep.
Yeah, well, I don't remember.
Big forehands.
I don't remember it from seeing her live. Like I know people are like, "Oh, is this the first time you've watched her?" But I've watched Sabalenka live. When she was playing Osaka that year, I don't recall that at all.
Neither do I, really.
She's had problems in the past. And I think she had problems at Eastbourne one year where she got code violations because it was so bloody noisy. And all the old grannies who go to the Eastbourne tournament are all tutting away and saying how awful it is. But I think she actually got a penalty a few years back.
Yeah, like it's not the Vika one, because Vika's one is like her rhythm and her breathing, right? But it's like this one was like a child, like I'm upset, my serve is wrong kind of thing. I was like, okay, have a meltdown, all right, but can we get it together? But you know what? To Steph's point about how your timeline wasn't that angsty, I actually didn't think people were that angsty because they knew at some point in time Serena could gather herself and take the match.
And she did. And her first serve, although it was tight in the third set, her first serve percentage 71. And when Serena's above 60, she's not losing matches. It's as simple as that. No, really. And
I mean, she only lost that second set because she was like, I don't know. She was like, "What's going on out here?"
I thought she was taking a little stroll to just roll up and take the third.
But even she herself said she wasn't particularly worried because
I thought she remained incredibly calm through the match.
Yeah,
and from the get-go, you could see this wasn't going to be one of those matches where she gave up, which I have the feeling.
Oh my God, that was defense Serena match, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody was like, Serena was Can I tell you, the commies were shocked. At some point in time, they were like, "Oh, I guess we can assume Serena has been working out." I was like, "Well, I mean, the outfit tells you the abs are there. What's going on?" The Serena defense was
no, that she hit 2 high lobs, just amazing how she got to them. And when she does that, she's not giving up.
Match. I had no doubt in that match, and I think it's just because
the Serena chorus is all in agreement with you. O said that Sabalenka has a little Irani thrown in with her scream. But I'm surprised that umpires don't say something. I mean, like, it doesn't have to be... Yeah, it doesn't have to be like, it could be a warning, like, say, girl, like, this is crazy. I mean,
well, it'll cost her at one point, and she'll learn. She'll learn. But I think everyone kept talking about.
And I'm also, but I guess players don't want to take out. I guess players don't want to take themselves out of the zone, and then because that's to be a way in which I think players can address some of these issues when they know that their opponent is being messy. But again, I guess it might become the tenor of the match, right? You want to just focus on what's across your side of the net. But I mean, there's no way I was going to be playing a match with this girl and she was going to be carrying on. It's like, no way. I'm just like, look, if you don't talk to her, I will.
You know what? Serena was unbothered by it though. She just kept it moving.
But also, I felt that was a really good match for Serena.
Yeah, it was a very good match.
Big hitter, lots of pressure from the start. She had to raise herself. She couldn't rely on her reputation across the net because Sabalenka doesn't give a shit. And Sabalenka was gunning for her.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Sabalenka looked like she was ready for this match. She came for this match. She wasn't concerned about winning the tournament. She was concerned about winning this match only. That's Sabalenka. That's what she was going kamikaze. She looked like this was a kamikaze.
It was important because she hadn't actually gotten to this round before.
No,
so
she's not a slam performer. Yeah.
So it's actually pretty cool. But I saw that and I was like, you know what I realized about you, Sabalenka? You're not quite all there yet. But when you do,
oh no! I mean, I consider her to be,
because I wasn't worried, and that's a sign of something. Like at no point in time, no matter how scrappy it was getting, I really wasn't that worried. So that tells me I was like, I don't think she's all together yet.
I was worried.
Well, for me, it's the outfit. It's the outfit. For me, it's like you can't be ready for the limelight and keep expecting this trash from Nike. Because the other girls know. The other girls know Nike ain't taking this. Send this back. What do you think I am? Sabalenka came out dressing like the crowds. I'm telling you. But Sabalenka is like Sabalenka is like a Gavinia. I don't rely on her match fitness. Like she was fit for that one period couple years ago, but she's never shown that commitment to stay within matches and stay within a tournament as she did that one time. So I don't know. I mean, like maybe she can have a one good tournament, one off, but she doesn't look like she's ready to be, taking over the reins of the WTA. I mean, none of these girls look. Yeah, she don't look like she's ready. No.
But okay, is one of the reasons because she hasn't had a decent coach, and she messed around with Tursunov for a couple of years.
Do you know what it is?
Didn't make any progress.
It's the discipline. You know how we can see the difference, the growth that's happened with Osaka. She just lacks discipline on court. Like there's no reason why if you've done the work to come back in that third set, have some self-control. She was out of control in that match. Like I just never felt like she was mentally settled enough to do what you need to do to beat Serena. I mean, case in point, the woman before her. Who was that girl in the Serena match? And I was like, wow, girl, you almost had it and you just choked it away.
Potova.
Yeah. Potova. What is it?
Potapova.
Potapova. I want to do twice. I want to do 2 T's twice. But that match, that poor girl, she worked so hard. And then she was like, I'm so sorry. I can't serve out this debt.
Okay. This is a good example for me of somebody who they're really pushing hard. I don't think she's broken the top 100 yet, and I don't think she's got anywhere near the talent to keep her successfully within the top 50 over her career. But there's a lot of energy behind her,
very much.
And she believes that she's capable of doing it, and she just demonstrated that again. Technical game hanging by a thread. They've given her a new serve motion, which completely doesn't fit with her natural arc. She's not somebody, she's got an Ivan Lendl ball toss. And then she has this weird way of flattening the racket out at the back and coming around. So she doesn't have the physical strength to then heave it up, which is needed when you have a toss like that. Completely wrong for her. And that's why you see it going all over the place.
But she nearly snatched that first set. So.
But in spite of that, those technical difficulties, that was all mental.
Yes, all mental. Absolutely.
That was all mental. That, I mean, she kept looking at her coach, and her coach was like, I can't help you. Let me look away. Maybe I won't.
But did you catch the beginning of the match before it started?
No, why?
They get into the stadium, and she's sitting down, and she's screaming at her box, "Move! I can't see you." And they're not really understanding. So she then turns to the umpire and tells the umpire to ask them to move. The umpire shouldn't interfere in shit like that. The umpire should have said,
like, I want to see the hand signals better. Why?
Yeah,
exactly. The umpire should say, if you want them to move, go over and tell them. It's not my business. I've got enough.
she was throwing a legit fit because she didn't have a direct line of sight to her coach.
Yeah. and her coach was motor mouth for the first set.
Oh, that was hilarious.
There was lots of coaching and typical, even with, I don't know if you saw it, was Sabalenka as well. Lots of coaching.
Oh, it's brutal. Yeah.
That's usual. That was at the US Open too. But I mean, Osaka was getting it from then it was, what's his name? Sasha. She was getting it. So Sasha was giving all of the hand signals there all the time too. But you know, it's funny, in the previous tournament for the Australian Open, so their coach was talking too much to her, and she told the umpire, "Can't you give him warning or something?" Stop it! I don't know why he's talking so much. Like, he's doing too much.
Okay,
she forget that she's the one who's getting the warning, not the coach. Like the warning
we have given the dish. I guess we're going to reserve a little bit for. Let's talk a little bit about the ATP. What matches?
Sorry, one second before we move on. Did you watch
Halep? Like Pablo's like, I stay on the WTA, bitches. Go ahead.
Did you watch the Halep Swiatek?
No one watches Halep.
No. That was last night. I missed that. I fell asleep.
I saw a couple pieces of it. I got excited. I thought Halep was going to lose.
Yeah, I thought she was, but she pulled it through. She kept her level and she pulled it through. That was a pretty good win, and Halep looks in pretty good shape, but I still expect Serena to take her out comfortably.
Comfortably? No 3 sets?
Yeah. 2 sets. 2 tight sets.
A little seconds. Hasn't Serena been getting a little sleepy?
No, only last night.
Look. Andre, you and I need to stay out of this fight because these people have sold their soul, giving up a promise for their firstborn. They are gunning for this 24.
Well, listen, you know what? I want to see Ultimate Defense Serena go up against this Ultimate Defense Halep. Let's see what they bring. Serena has.
I mean, this is not even the final. This is a quarterfinal. She has potential. Osaka Shui. You know, Shui is gonna come in here like Zhang Ji and just stand on that baseline and just go to the look. You know, Serena can't deal with that. Serena cannot deal with.
No, Serena is ready for that. Serena's like, give me that.
Yeah. Listen, all right. Before we leave the WTA, shout out to WTA legend. You know who's doing extremely well.
Who's that?
WTA legend.
Tell us.
Shelby.
Oh, Shelby. Oh, wait. We totally, can I tell you, this is horrible. We've completely ignored this side of the draw. Yes, Barty is on like Donkey Kong.
You got no crowd. No, there's no crowd. Oh, sorry, girl.
Stop it.
You got home court advantage.
No, it's Barty versus Shelby. Now it's going to be Elise versus Mukova, and then it's Beckett versus Brady.
Okay, all right. Who are you picking?
Can I just mention one little thing, please?
What?
One of the favorite moments of this entire tournament was that Mukova stole that second set from Treebed, and Treebed managed to murder somebody. Pliskova, who makes some money. I don't know. Somebody been telling these girls some lies because Pliskova thought she was going to win this Australian Open. She thought this was her.
Yes, she did.
She thought this was her. She was okay with losing the first set. You know, she was okay, and she was up 5-love, and she saw that finish line already. And Mukova said, "Wait, how about breadstick? Let's try. Let me get a breadstick."
Wait, Pliskova was up 5-love.
Yes,
5-love in that.
Oh my god!
He was just like, let me get a
3-piece. Your fave.
Then Mukova said, let me get a 3-piece in a
biscuit.
biscuit.
She's not my fave. I just think she has great legs.
No, I remember. But
She has great legs.
You know, Coplis looked ahead and said, "Wait, I have Elise at the other side in the 4th round." I got to get through this match. And Mukova was like, yes, honey, I get to go through Elise.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's why Mukova saw Elise and not a body or somebody crazy over there. Mukova was just like, I'm going to take this.
No, that was an absolutely terrific recovery. But also, Mukova is a real talent and is going to be around.
Yes.
And will be top 10.
I think she had a nice run at Roland Garros, right? Maybe a year and a half ago. Oh, well, obviously not last year because I couldn't remember anything that happened last year. But I guess it was the year before.
But also, Mertens is playing really well.
Yeah, Mertens is really. She's lovely.
Then she's not. I don't trust.
I know that's kind of how she rolls. Like she'll be like she looks unstoppable, and then she runs into a wall somewhere. Maybe it'll be Mukova.
And it's also she plays doubles, and she's a very good doubles player with oh my god, I forget who she plays doubles with, but she's still around. She's still alive in the doubles, so she's playing a lot of tennis here.
So who's according to Pablo?
Oh, Sabalenka. She plays with Sabalenka actually.
Yeah. So who's left here? Who's going to be the final four here? We already know the final four on the other side. It's Sue, Osaka, Serena, and Halep. Who's going to be left here? We've got Barty versus Shelby.
Barty.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mertens.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jen Brady, who's bashing everybody off the court.
Hit them all.
And surprise, surprise, I think it could be another American, Jenny.
Oh, Jessica.
Oh, I'm going to give.
Sorry, Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica. I thought it was Jessie, but yeah, it's Jessica. Yeah. Oh, wow. 2 Americans. Oh, look at this. 2 Americans left on this
I think
side.
there might be 3 Americans. I mean, I ain't going to sleep on Shelby because you know Shelby is good for one upset. And since Halep isn't around, she's going to grab Batty. I mean, like, I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Shelby's got. I feel like Shelby could really boss around Barty in that match. We don't think so?
I think so.
No.
So I'm going to go the opposite of
Pablo says no.
I'm going to go with Rogers. I'm going to go with Mukova because I just don't like Elise. I don't know what it is. Maybe because she's Belgian. I might be wrong.
Oh, my God.
You're harsh.
I mean, she comes out of the Clysters and in school. And then
yeah, exactly.
I'm just
I know what you mean.
Of Belgium.
Yeah, she's Belgian.
I'm not here for European turf war, Pablo. So, you know, I'm just saying a tennis vibe, okay? I'm going to go with Jen Brady. And I'm going to go with Svitolina. Jen Brady and Svitolina. Bekic just got out by the skin of her teeth.
But you know what? It probably doesn't even matter because the winner's not coming from this side.
No, I agree.
That's what I say.
I agree.
Oh, harsh. But you know, so I saw Steph. No, Barty is not hurt. She just says that they put a really large tape on her. She has a little bit of I think some sort of bruise on her leg, but the tape looks very big.
Barty?
Yeah, but it looks like she has a big tape, but she's actually not injured. She says not injured.
Yeah, because we always wear tape when we're not injured at all, right? When you're
well, I think she had some little thing.
It worked for Radvanska, so why wouldn't it work for her?
Isn't she
part of the outfit?
Isn't she back in Poland already?
Oh no! Listen, you all know that the biggest surprise thus far is my top 6 still in week number 2, Grigor Dimitrov.
I know.
Grigor.
Let me tell y'all a little something, okay? Like I know, forgive me, tennis god. So I was watching Grigor match. You know, it's not something I want to do, but you know what I mean.
Why?
Because you know what? Let me tell you something. There's some very good matches I can't watch because of the commentator, but we're going to deal with that on a later point. But so I switched over to Grigor, and for a moment I was just like, "Oh, this is why they're calling him Baby Fed." I mean, Grigor was bouncing that ball sexy like Fed. I mean, Grigor was.
Is this the first time you've noticed that?
Listen, it's the first time he's paying attention to Griggs. He just said.
I'm just saying, Grigor. Let me tell you how sexy Grigor is at this tournament. I was watching Felix and Karatsev. No, I was going to say his first name, Aslan, because I like his first name better.
I like his first name too, Aslan.
He was playing Aslan, and the commentators were all caught up in one-handed backhands. Neither of these players had a one-handed backhand. They were commenting. They even had a Final Fantasy of a tournament with only one-handed backhand players while this 5-set match was going on. So that's how sexy Grigor is. It's not just me. Everyone knows Grigor.
When Grigor is on, he plays very sexy tennis. And let me tell you something. When he's sitting at a table trying to woo the press, he oozes sexiness.
Well, let's not go
That's just who
overboard with
he
that.
is. No, I
Come
mean,
on,
like,
Janina. Stop
it
it.
just rolls off of him. It's so easy.
Could
And
you
you're kind
plug
of
out
like,
Janina's internet for me, please? Because I don't know what she's on. She's on something here.
hey, I'm just keeping it real. It's
Thank
the
you,
truth.
Zenobia. Zenobia is like not sexy like Fed, but I'm just saying he's giving you that little like Grigor is finally coming into his element. I don't know what it is. I mean, like he's done
You know
well
what
here
it
in the
is?
past.
It's the post-COVID. It's the post-COVID Griggs. He's a little rough around the edges now, not as polished. I like it. He looks a little hungry.
Life, I mean, he's living
He's-
life on the edge, going to that age we are told. So I mean, I'm just thinking he's just like no regret.
What do you
No
want to say,
regret.
Pablo?
he is a tease on this. He is a tease on this,
Mhm.
and he hasn't dropped a set.
He's
playing the
He
best
hasn't
tennis.
dropped a set.
Yeah.
He's well. First of all, PCB retired, so that was a
I
nice
mean, as he's
bit
wanted
of
to
rest.
do. I'm surprised he retired against Grigor, not against Rafa, but he wasn't on his side of the draw, so he was
No,
just like,
stop it.
I might as well.
PCB fights. PCB fight. No, I mean, but then, they said before that Griggs feels comfortable playing team, and then team showed up like he had a rough night. Who's team dating? Because team did not look like he was ready.
He's dating the aftermath
Gavrilova.
of Curios.
Gavrilova. I think he's dating Gavrilova because I don't know who in their right mind sitting in a press room and say, I want to be like Dominic Thiem. Who's on that kind of
Nobody.
thought? What is that? Did someone
so
check whether she
cruel.
had COVID? Because that sounds like a fever dream to me. Like,
You know what's so bad, Reels? You retweeted her and asked her if she was okay.
Well, I asked her if she wanted to be in interview number 4.
who does that? Dominic Thiem? Like, of all the players in the world, you going to think Dominic Thiem is who I want to be?
But you know what, though?
Dominic Thiem don't even want to be Dominic Thiem. That's the crazy part.
I know, but you know what? So let's be honest, though. Even though, as everyone has agreed, this was a boring turn. This has been a boring tournament for the men, but there have been some lovely upsets. It just hasn't really mattered that much, right? Like,
I mean, look, Grigor in that first set, Dominic got an old, and Grigor said, "Nope, we're not doing this today, boo. Nope."
Yeah, I know. Look,
Nick, and I'm gonna run away with this match. You got bageled by Grigor Dimitrov, Dominic Thiem. You don't even deserve an interview.
Oh, he got bageled. See, I mean, who could stay up to watch that? It was in the middle of the damn night, wasn't it?
And Dominic, Dominic was having.
Well, maybe for you on the East Coast, it was 6 love. Griggs had no problem, but let's talk about the problem that we all have. How do we solve a problem like Felix?
Oh, Lord, listen. That just broke my heart. I just feel like I keep waiting. I mean, he's young. I get it. And we have plenty of time to wait. But why are you losing matches you should be winning? I just felt like he was playing stupid tennis.
No, wait. It's not so much that he should win. They played before and split a match per Pablo, I think.
Right.
Yep.
But
he was in a winning position. Like, finish that shit out.
No, not really. I think he was up winning position.
Damn.
No, wait. He was up 2 sets. He was up 2 sets. But here's the problem, though. He was living on the edge for the match, right? Because the guy was pressing. He was making too many errors, and he saw that, And Felix, he was flowing. He was running around the court, and I'm sure that guy did his homework on Felix. Felix got to be in and out. Okay, Felix can't hang around. Okay, he got to be in and out. And I think in the third set, the guy got the early break because Felix was in the first set, the guy was breaking because they were trading breaks in the beginning. And then the guy was just like, let me just wait and see a minute. And in the third set, you have to manage the 5-set match because being up 2 sets to love is a different match when you're up 2 sets to 1. It's a whole different match when it comes to that 4th set. So I think the guy kept pressing and putting Felix behind the gun on the rest of the match, and with that, Felix starts spraying the ball. He keeps going for this shot that he couldn't make. Like there isn't another gear, he didn't have a plan B.
You know what though? I always feel I always feel for the person who's up 2 sets because you're thinking to yourself, just win one more, and then you just see them disappearing for 3 whole freaking set. It's just
stupid.
But think about it. Think about it this way, Andreen. How do you manage a 5-set match, right? Let's say you're up 2 sets to love, right? In the third set, and you feel like
if I'm up 2 sets to love and things are going disastrously in the third set, I let that third set go.
Okay, right. That's what you do, right? Because remember, I've heard a lot of tennis players say when you're easily beating a player, you have doubts in your mind. Is this me or is this him or her? So you have that battle within yourself, right? And like I said, the guy was already looking at Felix Silva already. Felix was being he was spraying the ball, and the guy had breaks on Felix Silva already. So Felix came into the third set, not thinking. Felix really didn't think about anything other than, I'm going to take this in 3 sets. But then the guy just came back, and then now you're down 2-1. So do you do that same plan in the 4th set? Because in the 4th set,
I think you do. I think in the 4th set, you pretend it's set 1 all over again mentally. You reshift, you forget about the 3rd set, and you completely just go lose your memory for the 3rd set. You fucked up, but you know what? Let me dial back in like I was in set 1.
Right.
The match has restarted. I think when you don't restart the match mentally, you are playing against the grain. You're playing against the gun, which is not a good thing for Felix. That's like him in finals. Right.
But watch what happens. Right. But watch what happens when you lose the 4th set, when you give it all in the 4th set.
No, you don't have to. You're not giving it all enough. Remember, if I said pay the 4th set like you're paying the 1st set, you're not giving it at all. You're resettling.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But
I think some of them do that.
You go to yourself, okay, I'm rebuilding. I feel like the great ones, that's what they do in the 4th
rebuild
set.
For the 4th set.
They rebuild in the 4th set, and they start the game all over in their own minds. But I think Felix is still thinking, I'm 2 sets ahead. I'm like, don't do that.
but also Felix, I don't think Felix is aware, like unlike what Karatsev was aware of in the match, what was going wrong and what needed to be fixed.
Yeah, he doesn't self-correct. Felix I find that he doesn't self-correct. I don't know why that is. He doesn't know how to like manage himself mid-match. He doesn't change it up. He keeps doing more and more of the same thing, which is pressing and going for his shots. Like I'm always like, dude.
I watched that whole match. Basically, he didn't have a plan for the 5th set. Like it was just like I'm gonna hope that Aslan messed it up. That's what he was hoping for, and Aslan was just like, look, I'm already here.
I'm about to whoop your ass.
And guess what?
Also, I think he gets out of position. Why does Felix take such an extreme position to hit that forehand?
I think he's giving himself space for errors. Sorry, Pablo, go ahead.
Okay. Felix came out in this match like he comes out in virtually all his matches, firing on all cylinders. And that's great over the maximum 3 sets. But he can't pace himself.
Oof,
and shots that he would be making in the 1st, 2nd, and even the 3rd set, and the score is much closer than, okay, it was 6-3, 6-1 the first 2 sets, but it was much closer than that. Shots he'd be making in those sets easily and finishing points well, he was just missing coming into the 3rd, 4th set, and then of course it kind of unwound itself in the 5th set. I feel he doesn't find that. I wonder if he just struggles to maintain focus beyond 2 hours. And like you're saying, he's spraying shots. He's overpressing, and this is all. It's a mental. His setup is not the same as it. He's just trying to tweak little things.
I just want to hold him to my boobs. Actually, when I see him, I see him. You know what? I always see him, and I always want to say, I was like, you want to cry, don't you? But he doesn't look.
Yeah, he looked like he wanted to cry. But they pointed out he's never played a 5-set match.
I mean, listen, and he's barely winning
he's
sets.
Played in the 5th set.
The other, there are a couple of other things about match tactics. As Andreen mentioned, they've played twice before. I mean, it was 2018-19, I think, and Felix is a different player, much better player. But Aslan knew who he was playing.
Yeah.
So all that mystery is gone. Secondly, Karatsev has been kicking people off the court so far. He took Schwartzman apart, and Dieguito is one of the hardest guys to play.
Yeah,
because he gets it. He's very fast on return of serve, and he gets everything back. And he straight sets. Karatsev beat Schwartzman.
Yeah.
So,
so what do you think about Griggs versus Aslan?
I think Griggs was the better handle of that match. Griggs was the better handle of that match.
It'll be difficult. I think if Griggs is playing at his current level and maintains it, which I have a big question mark over.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I don't think he got much. Listen, Griggs didn't get much pushback in the teams match, and he didn't get much pushback in the PCB match.
And also,
he's got to do something because he's our only allied black person, sort of something left. I mean, I need him to come through.
Well, I mean, I need him to come through because I would like to enjoy somebody else. You're right, but no, I mean, like I think it's interesting. I think that's a 5-setter, to be honest. I think Griggs
that's
and
a tough one.
I say because Karatsev is full set.
You think 4-set to whom?
Griggs. I'm giving it to Griggs.
Also, just a little bit on Karatsev, because some of the commentators have been saying, "Who is this guy? We've never heard of him." Firstly, I think that's profoundly disrespectful to any professional tennis player.
Who said that? Who said that, Pablo? Who said they hadn't heard of him? Tell us who.
Nick McCarville was one, and there are others.
Yeah.
But I just noticed that in my timeline today, and if you don't know, go look it up. They've all got profiles on the ATP or wherever. You know, databases that have them. Go and and educate yourself.
Fake till you make it.
Yeah. Karatsev is an interesting one because he's a guy I don't think he's broken into the top 100, and he's around about 115, I think, at the moment. And he plays ITF and futures and so on. But he is a very talented player. Clearly. He played in the ATP. He played in the ATP Cup last week. He only played in the doubles matches for Russia because they've got stars to play the singles matches. But I think he won all 3 doubles matches. And he's very typical of the players between 100 and 150, most of whom, if they got a chance and on a good day, can take out some of the top 20 guys. And the margins are very. I think the margins are much finer on the ATP side between, let's say, the top 50 and 100 to 150. And he's a very good example of that. And because people haven't heard of him, a little tennis ethnography.
Thank you. Maya has mentioned the most important thing.
You said you liked his name, Aslan. Why?
Because I mean, like, have you seen those legs? I mean,
you like his name because of his legs?
I mean, he just looks like an Aslan. I mean, like sometimes.
But though, if you want to know about him, they did a whole segment with the other players talking about him, the Russian players talking about him.
Let me tell you something. The press box, the press people get packages on the players.
Of course they do.
Yes. When you're in
as do the commentators.
They get paperwork on the players. Too. The commentators, that's what they mean. Yeah, those people get played. It's not like they cannot not know.
They all get a player pack before the match. Aslan, obviously, because of the Chronicles of Narnia.
Yes, of course.
He's and you can tell maybe not where he comes from, but his ethnicity. He's not really Russian. He's ethnic Iranian.
Ooh.
And he's because Aslan is a Turkish
name.
Yeah, meaning obviously lion, and that's what it means in.
He was roaring.
Let me just put him out of it right now. There is no roaring in that Grigor match. I need you to step.
Well, he was roaring against Felix, though. I mean, like,
and collect that.
No, he is. He's very
from the 4th round and keep it moving. Okay, we're not.
He's very vocal. He does. Yeah. He's not noisy on court, Aslan.
No. I think it's right after. But yes, listen to y'all. Come on, look at the second half of this thing. Rublev is playing Rude, which I've seen. Rude has come through a few times. McDonald versus Meds. Wow. Stefanos versus Berrettini.
Sorry, just on Rublev. I think I picked him out last week.
Yeah.
But again, straight sets. He's playing very well, and he's taken out 3 decent players.
Yeah, I mean he's playing very. I think,
and I expect him to straight sets over Casper Ruud as well.
Of course, yeah, that's an easy match for Rublev. I think. I mean, I think the tricky match is the next one, Rublev versus Med.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more than a tricky. That's a head case for him. Actually.
That's a head case.
That's a head case for him. I mean, look. And the problem with that head case is that Medvedev knows that.
I know
Medvedev knows that Rublev, and he knows Rublev pretty well, like all of the Russian players. I mean, like Kuzi talks about. That's somebody she doesn't like Kuzi. Talks about Rublev is always running around being rude. Like, who is this kid? Like, why is this child behaving this way? And they all know he breaks down on the court quickly. And no crowd.
It's the history. It's the history. I kind of love that. That's what's nice about the sort of the sweeping now of the Russians. You know, it's back in the day when we had the Spaniards and we have I think now it's the emergence of the Italians and the Russians, and now they all know each other, right? They know.
Well, I think it's junior players too, because remember back in the day, I hate to say this, Fed fans, when Nalbandian had a Federer number, he used to be like, what do you think you're going to do over there? You ain't going to do a thing. You could be a setter and 5 love. You know. I
do love how he was like that for all of those boys. Nalbandian was like, I got all your bitches' numbers.
Exactly. But I think Rublev really needs, if they face Medvedev, he's gonna need this match. If he keeps losing himself, because I mean, Rublev and Medvedev stole that first set. That was a theft at US Open. He literally just went in there and be like, "No, you can't be a 5-1 in a tiebreaker, 6-1 in a tiebreaker, and then lose the plot." Like,
although there's
a problem too. He's never even won a set against Medvedev.
I know, but there's been a little bit of Medvedev's in a little bit spacey, so maybe Rublev.
He's playing a little bit sketchy.
Yeah,
might be Rublev's moment. I highly doubt it, but
hang on. I look what happened in Medvedev's last round.
Yeah,
he was sailing past Krajinovic, and then
he just got a little distracted.
He went off the rails.
Yeah,
I mean, like into outer space.
But that's when your pigeons is across the net.
Except when your pigeon is there, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Serena was in a wheelchair in Australia 2016, 15? And then she got herself together. I mean, Maria. I mean, like, come on now. When you see a pigeon across the net, you get your life together.
So what do we think? A decent 3-setter from McDonald versus Meds, I say.
Yeah. No, Mackie's done well to get
to get
great results.
I mean,
I like
Harris
him.
is not much of a thing.
I like him too.
I don't trust him. He's American.
Sorry, just on that, you remember you asked me who mentioned about the sort of commentators? It was Stakowski. He tweeted that one of the problems is with commentators is they tweet stuff like this, and I think Nick McCarver's tweet was something like, "Hands up if you've never heard of this guy."
Yeah,
like me,
and that includes me.
I agree with Stephanie. You should never mention it. Like, it's fine to say to yourself, "Well, you know what? This person's fallen off my radar. I don't track everything." Yeah. But you shouldn't you should say it out loud. That's basically admitting you don't do your job.
Because I think Nick tweet came across clearly players don't have social media too. They ain't gonna see this. It was just like,
it was weird,
rude.
It was rude, but I mean, like, they have access to this as well. Like, what are you gonna do?
Listen, I'm struggling with Nick McCarville calling so many of the big matches because I don't like how his voice matches up in tennis. Like, I just feel like it's not, like, it shouldn't be there. It should be in some other sport. I don't like it. I'm not liking it at all.
He covers other sports. What do you mean his voice doesn't match?
On TV, I don't like it. I don't like it. I never have minded him as being like an announcer on court or doing interviews like that. But to call a match, I don't want to hear it. I don't like it. I don't like how he talks. I feel like he went to some type of training to like lose an accent of some sort. Like, everything is just enunciated so perfectly, and I can't fucking stand it.
Oh, okay.
I'm used to hearing.
There's no charm or no wit to his voice, really. But I mean,
there's also no technical background. He doesn't come with the baggage of being a former player or coach, I think. And also I associate him with crazy golf. And when the players wrap snakes around themselves on the WTA for these little sort of games they do before tournaments start. He does all the social media stuff.
He does the off-color stuff. So we've got Stefanos versus Berrettini, and we've got Rafa versus Fabio. So I mean,
I want Berrettini. I want anybody over Stefanos, like anybody. Just give me anybody.
They just recently played, right? So I would assume. I thought I just saw Berrettini.
At the ATP Cup?
Yeah, didn't they play each other just recently?
I think they did, and I think Berrettini won that.
Yeah, Berrettini won.
But I don't just
think this is
5-set match. Those legs.
It's a 5-setter probably.
And Steph has been very, very quiet. I mean, he's been under the radar here. Everyone's worried about Nole's abdominal tear. So Steph is quietly rolling through. I mean, he doesn't.
Actually, the last time they played, Stefanos won.
Yes,
and so that was at the U.S. Open, and that was actually pretty easy.
They didn't play the ATP Cup.
Yeah, no. Actually, it was 2019. They played last year. Whoa, that's horrible.
No, year before last.
2 years ago. Yeah, it was.
I think
it was 4 setters, 4 sets.
Yeah, I think Steph may be well prepared because he played chicken legs.
I think he's in a good position.
Gilles Simon. He struggled to get over Koch in the second round.
No, but
that was a 5-setter.
That did him well.
And then he crushed Mikael Ymer.
Exactly.
And I think this could be a very tight one.
I think it's a 5-setter, and I don't think I'm not sure who ends up out of it. The Fabio Rafa match, I think, is actually going to be the first test Rafa has.
Yeah,
because Fabio knows how to play Rafa.
Well, it depends on which Fabio shows up, though.
And
I think he looks like he's ready to show up for this one because what's he?
I hope so.
But who knows?
But I don't bet money on Fabio. I just don't.
You can't. It's dangerous.
I would say no. I agree with you, but on this court.
The speed.
Fabio can win.
Yeah,
but you're absolutely right. It depends which one turns up.
I mean, Fabio would like his chances. But speaking of, we've gone through the men. You all have called it. We know who the final 4 are on the other side. Who will be the final 4 on this side, y'all?
Medvedev. Just Medvedev. That's all.
Okay.
I mean, I have Nole, and actually, I don't believe the injury nonsense with Nole, right?
Can we talk about that a moment?
Wait. Let's just finish the final 4 for this guy.
I mean, Zverev
and Alexander
Zverev, please.
Aslan, Rublev and Metz. Is that what you all are saying?
I'm saying, I'm just gonna be contrary here, even though I know it's not going to be. I'm gonna put Zverev in the final 4.
Oh, Zverev over
Djokovic because he plays Djokovic pretty well. I don't know why or how he rises for the occasion for him, but he punks out. But I'm gonna give him that, and I give Grigor, Novak, and I have Medvedev and Divadal. That's who my final 4 are.
Okay. If Novak is as injured as he said he is, I think that's an easy match for Zverev, because he'll just run around the court. I think Grigors is not going to deliver, so let's go for Karatsev.
Ooh.
Let's do something really odd.
That's really fun.
Then I think we've got Danny Medvedev, and I think Rafa.
Yeah. So, okay, let's just roll into this injury piece now, because I think the injury is the second player of the men's side this time. It is.
But sorry, one caveat on my Rafa choice. If Steph beats Matteo, I would have Steph over Rafa on this court.
On this court, the speed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's be honest. Okay, how injured is Djokovic? How bad is Rafa's back?
Rafa's back is fine. Novak's stomach is fucking fine. They're both fucking fine.
Okay.
I think it's interesting how this injury narrative now plays a major part of particularly slam tournaments. And it is the play, and normally the players don't want to talk about injuries, but they are putting it out there more and more. And I think it's a bad sign, because a lot of I think someone commented on Twitter about this, and it's always been the case. The people who want to know most about injuries are the bettors. And fair enough, because it gives them an insight into how a player is, and it's information that they wouldn't normally be able to collect. And it's often pushed in press conferences: how bad is your injury? How long will it take you to recover, etc., etc. But I've noticed the proactive stance some players have taken in saying, "Oh yes, I've got this terrible back pain," or they will say Rafa's sitting out the ATP Cup because he's got a very bad back. And you see him bouncing around inside the box and everything, and he looks fine. We don't know, but it's this narrative it's really permeated, especially the top players now, and you see even in their interviews saying, "Oh yeah, well I've been told I need to every waking hour I use it for recovery," and I smell a rat.
Well, I thought
it's been overused. We've seen this.
Well, someone
rats.
said it was strange. Well, someone said it was really strange. Like, the big thing is everyone's asking, why would Novak Djokovic invent an injury after he's been up 2-0?
How many times in matches over the last 10 years have you seen him take medical timeouts at critical
11
points?
billion.
Exactly. He's never finished matches. I mean, this is the Nolan that we know.
Well, I actually have to say that this time around, I think what we had was an encounter of Novak speaking loudly about something which was his fear, but wasn't really real. Which is, I've got a torn thing, when really it was a sprain or like something really not true. But we do know that Novak Djokovic, I think, is kind of a bit of a hypochondriac.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was actually what was playing out, I would say, is that I think he, weirdly enough, was just like spitballing, I think, out loud. And now you realize that he probably, what do you call it? Like,
over the lie?
Like he says more of his injuries than it actually is. Like, I think you're actually like getting some insight into the way he actually thinks about his body, which is, I think he's an hypochondriac.
Well, it was totally foolish though of him to say, "I don't know if I'm going to be able to take the court. I think I got a torn abdominal muscle." Like, shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth.
He said he knew he had an abdominal tear.
Yeah, I know it's a tear.
Well, also the part of it that was weird, I will say, and I know his fans are upset about it, but it's all day the next day. Like, I'm going to go into the tournament to see what's happening. It's like, how is it that no one knew exactly what was wrong with you the very next day? And
or that
people
night,
waiting all the way until the end of the day to figure out whether you were going to play or not play.
They got professionals around. It's top players. Like, you ain't gonna let there's no crowd, but I mean, come on. These top players.
He probably had some kind of
if you have a torn
done.
muscle. Yeah, but if you have a torn muscle, the doctor will say to you, "Don't play."
Right.
Simple. And they will write in their report for the ATP, because the ATP will ask for it. My recommendation is he doesn't play. And then it's down to the player. And you don't move the way you moved in his last match if you have a torn muscle. You can't. You can't stretch. You can't do anything unless you plan to do more damage. So it's difficult to know, because it's been, and part of the difficulty is the way they've cultivated this press releases around how injured they are and what the issue is and who they feed this information to and so on. It's hard to know.
I think it gives everybody cover. It's like, I
No,
don't do it, I think I can.
Here's the crazy thing about these injuries. We've seen it too many times before.
Yeah.
I know I'm sick and tired of it. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. Let me tell you how crazy this injury talk was. ESPN put out an alert on their app during that Taylor Fritz match. Like, and the crazy thing is that these players now have some level of, like, wink, wink, nod of some of these dubious injuries and whatever the case may be. Everyone knows You have to go take a hospital picture, be in the bed, put it on social media. I'm okay. They all know that bit. But even the players were just like, what? You tore your abdomen. PCB didn't win a single game against Grego with a torn abdominal muscle.
He couldn't move. He couldn't move.
You can't move. Serving is all about the core. Remember Serena? She had a C-section. She came back. The serve was wonky. Abdominal muscles. It's not just your legs. You need your abs. Nole's game is built on physicality. Nole isn't trying to sweet you with some slight touch and whatever. He's throwing himself all over around the court. I didn't see a single thing different in Nole in any match. Nole, I just think what happened, he gets flustered, it seems. Nole is all over the place in matches mentally. We've known this for a long time. And I think during the Taylor match, he just couldn't compose himself to just close out any of the set. The third set or the fourth set. He was fighting with the crowd.
Yeah, he was, but also, I think in the Taylor match, he realized he had a problem. He didn't know what it was, and he then started to change how he was playing and drop sets. But that was because he didn't know what it was, and I think he was worried that he was going to make it worse.
And then Taylor wasn't walking off the court either, because usually players would, you know ATP is right. The man over there struggle. Let me struggle even more for you. Let me just let the top player. He's struggling. Let me just help him through the next round anyway. But Taylor was not struggling. Taylor was like, you know what? I could probably take this win and take Nole out. I would be the king in the locker room. John Isner would definitely give me a high five. But, I'm just so sick because it's just Nadal come, my back. Something is wrong with my back. My back is... And then you show up on court running around like the same toreador. Like, how am I supposed to... This is a sport. This is
not a good look. It's not.
How am I supposed to take you seriously? And you're right, Pablo. There seems to be something crazy when you're just honestly just going on about this. And then when it comes to specific, you can't give any specific. My back is sprained. But how could you... People with this mild back injury can't even get up off of the couch. And I mean, you're an athlete. It's true. You're a professional athlete. But you are not a friggin' like robot android. Okay, like you... I don't understand.
Well, it was interesting. It's contrast. It's an interesting contrast to the way that team decided to handle his injury, which was to basically say, "I'm not going to discuss it." It's
mind your own business.
I had a bad day. Like you could lose a match. It's tennis. You can lose a match and it just be okay.
But I think it was interesting that he chose to, because people were giving him an opportunity to call an injury, and he was like, "Yes, something wasn't quite right, but I also just had a bad day." And so I think that was a noteworthy pun. But let's. The injury thing, I think it's here to stay. It's here to stay.
I'm tired of it. I'm so over it.
And we'll probably get it because we'll probably have a Rafa Nole final with both.
Oh, and could you imagine
who's less injured?
Oh, could you imagine that ceremony? Oh my God. I had slight diarrhea, headaches, nausea, and a slight scratch in the eye.
They wheel them onto the court. You know
that scene in the Bridesmaid when they were like the two women, Christian Wig and the other girl was just like what's her name? You know what I'm talking about, right? You know that girl when they were fighting and they were just like, oh no, I help the kids. Oh no, and then this is what it's gonna be. We've seen this 2018.
Well, you know what? Let's be honest. I think that's the most compelling thing
on 19. Sorry.
State of
can we just say something about Milos?
Yeah.
And I think this match was a very good example of one of the problems that he has. He cannot adapt.
Nope.
He's so rigid. He didn't change anything.
Nope.
He could have thought, right, how do I take this guy apart if he's injured? And he didn't do anything. He carried on exactly as he always played.
Do you know why? Because he knew he wasn't injured. This is the thing. This is the thing these players do.
Yeah.
See, what happens when you do the injury narrative and you come out and you don't play any different? It really fucks with the other player. It really fucks with your opponent because they're looking for you to start compensating in some way, and then you don't, and their minds go crazy, which is what Grigor said he avoided doing in the team match. He's like, I knew he wasn't all there, but I decided not to go down that road with him. I decided to play on my game plan. So I actually think when you float the injury narrative beforehand, it actually confuses your opponent completely because they're looking for you to come differently and you don't. And then they're like, is he injured? I thought he was injured. Why is he playing this way? Da 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 da. Which to be honest, is what Djokovic said about the Rafa final in RG. He said his camp said they expected Rafa to come out differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that they built that into their game plan with Rafa. And then he showed up he did not show up.
Suckers.
He was like a sucker back.
Like, this is the part that I'm getting really confused. This is the part that really gets to me. Is that they're making these injury claim. You come out, and I mean, like, it's like we're living in this world, like you're not even believing your own eyes. This guy was just like, he moved a little differently for that ball. Bitch, it's tennis. You don't win all the friggin' points. You just don't.
No, because I think when you comment, you're looking for reasons. Like, it's interesting because I don't know if this used to happen in Federer matches. The commentators would always expect Federer to play a certain way. So even when Federer was injured, they never noticed that he played differently because their predispositions was playing out in their brain. So it would take a Federer fan oftentimes to say, hey, Federer's serving differently. His serve is off. Something's weird. They just never did it. So I think with the pre-press release, you're looking for differences in Novak's game. You're looking for differences in Rafa's game.
But the difference there is that Federer never tells you that he's injured until after it's over.
But you see,
exactly.
He doesn't lead with that.
But if
Remember,
you are a careful watcher, you would notice yourself, right? You would notice it because you'd be like, something's off. But I remember BG talking about Federer in a match. Meanwhile, Federer had a back injury the whole time, and only a few people were able to call it out. BG's like, Federer is dominant as ever. And it's like, that's just a pre-set notion in your brain. Yes, and I think that's why you do it.
I remember what alerted me to the fact that there's something was up. I don't know if you guys picked it up at the time because nothing had been said. He was wearing a compression undershirt, a dark one underneath, and you could just see the top of it. And he never does that.
Yeah,
and it wasn't hot. It wasn't cold, and I thought something's up here. He's got muscle problems or something because he never wears this.
So that's why when you pre-float the injury narrative, it's not real. It's not.
But it's more. But
also, can we just say on him as well?
More than that, it's just a little bit more than it's. What is so annoying about the Nadal and the Djokovic narrative about injury too much for me is that every match become as if they were out there fighting a wall. Like, oh my God, it's almost become like this history.
The warrior narrative.
Warrior, martyrdom nonsense. And it's just a freaking tennis match. And Rafa was the one who turns around and say, well, this pandemic has taught us anything is not that serious. That there are more important things and serious things for us to be considered. But every single match you're being bombarded by this. And then they take that nonsense and then feed it down to the lower players that you are lazy. You ain't working hard enough. When these players are trying to take care of their bodies because they don't have good insurance, they don't have money for that $50,000 surgery, they can't afford to be on recouping because they're making no money while they're in rehab. So I think
it's a disservice. I think it's a
disservice to the whole sport. And there's nothing wrong with him too.
Yeah, and this injury narrative has permeated all levels. You're absolutely right. But just to say about Fed, when do you see him call for a medical timeout?
He's got to be about dead.
Off time. Yeah. Well, I think also, to be honest about that though, I think it's very old school. That was like the day that's back in the day when you just never showed. You just never showed. And this is
I like that better.
This is just a different narrative. It's like with Serena, right? When Serena was clearly something was wrong with her last year with the Pliskova match, but she refused to acknowledge that something was going on. Yeah. So it's like, I think that generation, the Feds, the Venuses, they really were told that you just
over 35s.
That is the warrior narrative that I can appreciate.
Yeah, like the over 35s were told you don't tell your opponent what's going on. You never really let them see you sweat. And that's but I do think that this generation, it's very different. You own your injuries as a part of your story.
I don't like it. You know what I did love? Let me tell you what I did love before we move on from the actual play. I fucking love Kyrgios leaving the court doing the Novak boob throw.
It's when he
wasn't leaving the court. Entering. I think
he's entering.
No. He wasn't leaving the court. It was when he walked. That GIF is from when he walked onto the court.
Well, I love his open
disdain for Novak.
Mocking.
I feel like he is my best friend. And
Look, let me tell you something. You know, Andrina and I talk about this all the time. I agree to a certain extent that Nick is being a troll and Nick is being an ass, and he needs to win because winning covers a multitude of sins. But the thing for me, I think, where Nick is coming from, and Nick, the other players, because I think just for the first time in a long time, other players were just like, "What, boo? You're an injured Nole." Is that they're having to do the commentating, they're having to do the critique that the media refuses to do. And then the media, because the media turns around and throw that shit in their face. Because you remember what Dominic Thiem said to the players when they were supposed to give money? You were lazy. You don't work hard.
And then finally, Dominic had to admit. Did you see what Dominic just admitted to, though? That he's actually not a machine. That he can't.
He did say that. I'm not a machine.
I mean, which is interesting because he showed up every day, everywhere, right? He played backyard classic. He's there for the backyard.
But to give him credit, he is a workhorse. He puts the effort.
Yeah,
in.
but you know what? The body always wins, though.
Yeah, the body wins.
I know.
But you know what?
I know. But
his lineage. His lineage is the Rafa and Nole and Murray style. That's what that is what he's going to bring to the table. But I think with him admitting that that's a style that requires you to be machine-like. So you're playing through injuries, you're not letting people see you. I mean, it's falter, you're showing up miraculously better. I mean, that's a really, really bad precedent for them.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, you just mentioned Murray. You know, it's not my favorite player. You know, Pablo, you can drag him if you want to. But I thought Murray's, recent life history would have been a warning shot for the whole tour.
Stop it.
Look,
you act like they learn from other people's mistakes. They don't.
Oh, that's true. I'm here trying to be positive, right? Because I mean, like Murray is struggling. I mean, like Murray couldn't come here to the Australian Open. I mean, look at how Felix dismantled Murray at the US Open or wherever he was last time around when they played.
He's not match fit.
He's not match fit, and his body is not responding to him, because Andy Murray had total command of his body back in the day when he was.
I'm not sure he did, actually. I think he's a classic example of what we just discussed of the old school, where he's riddled with physical issues, not just his hip. And he didn't talk about it, and he had all sorts of things, and he didn't talk about it, and he played through it in the way that Roger would. His hip was obvious to everybody, because that limp is impossible not to see, and of course then they had to talk about it and whatever. But he's had all sorts of other injuries, and he's not gone to press about it.
But you know what it is, though? He had injuries, but he pushed that narrative that I think turned out to be very self-destructive to others coming up, which is you break your body to win a slam. That's what you do. And I think Dominic Thiem, and I think they all are trying to do the same thing. But it's really strange because the new crop of players coming up, they're like spry, they're thin, they're not these bulky guys, right? And so it'll be interesting to see.
They are made for 1990s tennis, but they're trying to play 2020 tennis.
Well, I mean, because look at Meds, look at Medvedev, look at Rublev, look at Berrettini. I mean, these are thin, lanky guys. I just think
look at Rafa's leg.
Yeah, I mean, this is different. Like, I think you're moving out of that space, but anyway,
they're not even changing the style of the game. That's the problem that gets to me, is that you're not.
Yeah, they're not accommodating it right now. No, well, because the most successful of them has been Dominic Thiem, so they feel like they're going to have to model that. But I dare say that the only reason why Dominic Thiem is successful is because he's going up against the old guys. I say let Dominic Thiem ruin his body, because by the time they retire, you can bring in a whole different brand of tennis.
Oh, she's doing it.
Like, let Dominic Thiem go after the top three guys. Let him ruin his body to capture those records. Once those guys retire, it's a different ball of tennis.
But I think Thiem is made from different stock. He's built like a brick shake house. He really he's thickness personified.
Yeah.
And that comes from the fact of the way that he trained as a junior. I mean, excruciating, sort of running up mountains at minus 100 degrees, whatever. He's of very, very thick stock. So he can take a pounding. He's a bit like Stan.
Yes,
Who
they
can
both have
take a
that
bit of
same
a pounding.
Yeah.
I would worry about Rublev and Medvedev and even Berrettini. I mean,
Well,
Berrettini has like
too.
stiletto legs.
But I would too if they don't accommodate. But you know what, Pablo? I would worry about their bodies if the court doesn't accommodate a change. Like, I think you can change the way players respond by changing the courts, right? Like, if you don't want the grinding, killing kind of game,
they're not even willing to talk about that. They just think
no, they're not. But you could cultivate.
They're
that
like, show up anyway. We can play in a pit of tar. They're ready for that. They think that they should do that.
No, Andreen, you're right. If you want to protect players in the long run, you have to fasten the courts. And particularly on the WTA side, the tendency has been to slow them down. So you get more competitive matches. It's more of a leveler. And they should be doing the opposite. These courts should become faster and faster and faster because the better players shine.
Well, also because think about it too. The assumption has been, right, that like, look at what's happening in terms of like, say on the women's side, you just said, like, the speed of this court is helping everybody, right? Everyone has acknowledged that. And look at how people are thriving. Look at who's thriving.
Yes.
Look at who's thriving. It's not the ones
big hitters.
Yeah, it's the ones who can hit through this court, and it's rewarding folks like Osaka, it's rewarding Serena, it's rewarding the people that have the weapons that you want to celebrate on the tour. So I just think that the idea that you need to create more Dominic teams is a bad model.
But they're thinking about the final, because guess what? No one's watching Dominic team in the final. They're just not.
Well, I was going to say, like, not only is it a bad model, it's a boring model. Like, do better.
But for the ones that are in the game, right? Just think about the ones that everybody loved. That new Italian guy that everybody's in love with. I think a fast court is, that's going to suit his game wonderfully. It's going to suit Felix's game. It's going to suit a lot of
Skinner, he may not look like it, but he's from the same stock as Team. He
doesn't look it though. He looks so
not now because he's quite young, but he will, and
he
has tremendous strength.
Yes,
he's a skier from a child. He's a skier. Where he comes from, they grow up skiing.
I was surprised by how heavily he hits that ball. Like, for that body, I'm surprised by it.
Yes.
So maybe that's what's going on. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I'm like ATP, get yourself some nice fast players up on that court. Get the speed going.
Fasten the courts, exactly.
Get it. Yeah.
Remember, the women have to play on that same court, so the WTA should be shouting at them. If we're not going and playing
Serena around a little longer. Let her keep serving bombs.
Because Sabalenka's not ready for the prime time. Sabalenka's not ready for the prime time.
Sorry,
the more you slow down the courts, the more injuries you will have, because the harder it is on the players.
Well,
this has been established years ago, but no one. I am surprised that for like a fundamental part of the game, that players are not advocating for some sort of like standardization
of
sport.
They don't feel like they have control, because I think it's basically a sponsor. They think it's a sponsor tournament driven decision about
That's
how
crazy. I mean, look, when I go to work, I'm saying, like, I don't like these pens. So either you buy the ones I want, I bring my own. That's how particular I am. So imagine me going and playing a sand pit, all I can tie. I'd be like, no, sorry.
Okay, now speaking of the crazy thing, let's talk about the crazy thing that's happened. I guess the first is the rude fan.
Look, I'm
sorry, but that was one of Grigor's cougars, wasn't it?
She did look that way. She did look like the tennis cougar.
I looked at her and I thought, you're here for Grigor. You're in the wrong match.
She was in the right place. She was a paid operative for Nole. And then
I love what she said. Just hurry up, you OCD fuck.
And what is crazy was that tennis. Tennis being tennis. The crowd, the minimal crowd there was just like, oh. And I was just like, have you been to a sports event anywhere?
Didn't she get escorted out?
Yeah, she did.
That's just bullshit. That would never happen in America. Never.
Actually, no. It would. No. It would happen at the US Open.
I mean, outside of tennis, in a sporting event, like if that was a basketball game. Probably the player would look and be like, "Fuck you," and everybody would move on.
But she'd had a few too many Chardonnays, and you wouldn't see that in other sports. And yeah, she was here for Grigor, but he gave her the wrong date and the wrong court.
I love Rafa just giggling. He was like, "Who, me? What? What?"
I mean,
and then she put up a middle finger and Rafa
the perfect thing about it is Rafa has no idea how much angst and hatred he generates in fans. And I was like, honey,
yes.
You see this rage this bitch is having? Whenever I see you in a match across from Federer, I am giving you the finger 20 times in the match. You know what I mean? No. But I just thought it was hilarious that she was like on camera and didn't have the
She was bringing that mean silly on. That
I know.
And then the fan yelling at Novak. Go Rafa.
Well, that was Rafa sent his people over there because he was just live.
And Novak's just like, ha ha ha.
I love reels that you call them clackers. I mean, it's just
they're paid operative because who's going to take good? I mean, like, this is the middle of a pandemic, okay? No one's giving you a free Australian Open ticket, right? You have to pay your money to be there. You have to be a lucky person to kind of get into that event. And you're gonna get there. I mean, I think they closed down several of the restaurants because they wouldn't keep the full tournament. You paid your good money just to show up there to flip off Nadal. I mean, like that's
listen, she's living in infamy. She doesn't mind it. She's like, I'm okay with this shit.
That was amazing. I loved it.
And I mean, like, look at the other person, right? You showed up at a Nole, man. You know those Serbian fans show up everywhere. And you're going to stick for Rafa in a Nole match and walk out with you got
listen, first of all, you're complimentary. Nole fans don't stick around to watch anybody else play.
Exactly.
and they go en masse.
In and out.
No, there is this is a serious point. The Serbians do it and the Romanians do it. Yep. And often somewhere like if you go to Indian Wells, there are no Romanians living in Indian Wells. But the consulate will provide tickets for people who are prepared to go and shake the flag and do all the rest of it.
It's smart.
And they send them en masse to support Simona and all the rest of it. And the same happens with others.
No, I remember I told you I was in Miami, and the Serbian girl was looking to see Nole. She'd gotten lost. And I was walking to the tennis and I said, I'll show you the way. And she's like, yes, I'm here to see Nole. And I was like, great. And I was like, you could stay all day. She's like, yeah, that's fine, but I'm just here to see Nole.
Yeah. I'm only paid for that match, yes.
I was like, oh no, the way this works is you can watch anything else.
Wasting my whole day.
Nole. And I was like, okay.
Lovely drama girl said Tyriak busts them in.
Actually, Tyriak buses other types of girls in. I think it's called trafficking.
Oh.
I mean, Pablo, I hope you're an attorney. Because you see, Dominion is suing people for $2 billion. Look, I don't even have $2 billion.
Yes,
exactly.
And Dominion has a case.
I know
that's what I'm saying. Exactly. We have a podcast, so please
don't fuck it up, Pablo.
I mean, Tyriak may come for us because it's Black History Month, and anytime something black goes on the street, he's like, oh, when can I say something insulting? I can't deal with him. What?
Can we please talk about Serena's bodysuit?
Okay, yes. Let us end on the outfits. Ending on the outfits. Let's go. What do you got to say about this damn?
So you're gonna pretend like Guile didn't pull his heart out for you, Andre?
Listen, why you want to break my heart? Okay, Guile cried. How did we all feel about the crying? You know what?
Yes, but I think we will deal with that question, and the larger question we pose, with our series for the third episode, for the final episode.
We will.
He says, "Are you gonna ignore this? Oh, we'll talk about it later."
Okay.
Because we're not talking about the men's final.
That's fair.
Janina, we're brushing it under the carpet.
Okay, but you know what? That's fair. But let me just give the audience the question. I want you all to seriously think about it when we come back. The question on the table internally for us is: do these Black players need a Black male coach? Like, really seriously?
No,
I mean,
For the
ATP.
For the ATP.
For the ATP. For the
Okay.
ATP side, do these black tennis players on the men's side, do they need a black male coach? Think about this from a post George Floyd, Black Lives Matter moment, however you want to frame it. But let's think on that, and we will be revisiting that question in episode 3 next week when we close this thing out. I'm thinking Felix. I'm thinking TFO. We're thinking Gail. We're thinking all of these boys. What is going on there?
I mean, and Donald Young, of course, would be the exception. But Donald Young doesn't need new coaches. Just anybody that's not his parent.
Except the problem with Donald Young is that the McEnroes have been brutal to him. So that's also partly what's going on there. And someone's like, why a black male coach? That's the question. We want to just, does it matter? Or do they need a different type of coach? We don't think the coaches have been working.
So think about it.
Because this is a real tennis fan, we're going to give you an essay question, part B. Part B to this question that Andreen asked is that what do you envision the ecosystem for players of color to thrive on the pro tennis circuit in this sphere?
You've heard hints from them. They've told you that it's a lonely sport. They've told you that they feel isolated. All kinds of things are going on behind the scenes for these guys. Thinking about watching, Nick also has hinted at that. Watching these guys love on basketball players who get to be together, and then you think about the isolation that is the ATP, and who
particularly now, just the isolation of tennis right now.
Also, I won't answer that question now, but just to add a little point, you're right. It's not a team sport. And if you use basketball, black players are often in the majority in most teams, yeah? So it's a kind of different... It's a
community.
It's a different dynamic.
Vibe. It's a different vibe. So can tennis, which is one of the things that Nick actually requested. Nick requested, can tennis figure out a way to create more of a...
community
atmosphere? The younger players have been asking for that for quite some time, which, by the way, the older players had. When you listen to the old French players talk about being on tour, it was very, very much a kind of a group thing.
In fact, it was there 50, 60 years ago. There's a wonderful book by I think it's a South African tennis player. It's called A Handful of Summers. And it talks about the old days of the amateur sport when they all used to go around with each other and how they hated each other, some of them, and the competition and everything. But they were an entourage. They all went, they traveled, stayed with everybody, the same group, all together, country to country. It's, of course, different era. But, yeah, interesting.
So ponder it and let us know next week. We'll see, because we can contrast it to how it goes on the women's side, but it'll be interesting. But I do think black boys are different, so we should really think a little bit more about that. But let's end on the ladies and the gentlemen's outfits.
Yeah. Let me just say, though we don't stick around, Kiki knows how to ask Adidas for what she wants. And Adidas
I need to see Kiki does that. Let me see what she was wearing.
I mean, Kiki was playing a little
quick. I missed it.
I mean, no, Kiki was in the third round, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Don't be playing Kiki like that.
Listen, she wasn't around when I was awake and watching tennis.
Exactly. Any outfit she puts on, it's not going to get much of a showing. Even if she's playing in the doubles as well.
Yeah, she's playing in the doubles. That's true. And actually, just word a note, this is the first major back that we have mixed doubles. Because the previous two majors, we didn't have mixed doubles. So it's back here in Melbourne. So congrats to them. We didn't even mention the fact that there was no crowd mid-tournament. I mean, listen to me.
Oh, I just saw her kit. It's cute. That's a nice color. It's like an orange V-neck. Ladies always do a V-neck. Let's help each other out with the neckline.
Yeah, for sure. It's flattering on everyone.
I'm telling you. And she has a nice little skirt, appropriate length, gardenia, fit to the trim to the waist, Osaka.
Okay,
what's with the shorts?
I'm going to say something controversial. I really like Osaka's outfit. I really do.
Oh my God, it's fucking hideous.
I love it. It's really
hold on. I'm calling Andrene's sister to make sure she is not under duress because something is wrong.
She's under duress. V, help us out. What do you like about it?
The black tights shows
They're not
off
black.
her
They're
long-
fucking camo.
No, it's black
No,
and like
they're gunmetal, perhaps. That's
they're
what they use.
gunmetal-ish, and it's great. And then you've got that beautiful orange, that pop of color.
Mhm.
I like it. I don't understand why you all love it. It's
Okay.
very.
Okay,
It might
here's
be
the
okay
thing.
if she lost those leggings.
Here's the thing. I think what happens so often is that players see.
Let me see.
I think a lot of designers design clothing for a size 0 model, and then they never think about how it works athletically.
This
Because
doesn't have anything to do with the size of Osaka's body. That thing is
I don't
ugly.
mind. Listen to me.
It's ugly.
Listen to me.
No,
The skirt
but
needs
aren't
to
the
go.
leggings aren't the leggings designed to be sold to lots of people? Because they work as leggings.
The skirt is too high,
Um,
Yvette. Thank you. You know how I feel about
but-
tennis players.
but-
on
I
their
mean,
waist.
the
But
skirt.
but
yeah.
the combination is
Beautiful.
awful.
Like the
If
No, the
gunmetal
combination
and
is
that
wrong.
orange.
I
it's
I didn't
feel like they threw a bunch of pieces together. She's like, "Oh shit, I
Yep.
gotta go on court. I'm gonna grab this, this, and this." And
No,
go.
there's no. First of all, you don't understand. It's actually a full bodysuit. It looks like.
Oh, that's even worse.
So
No,
the outfit underneath is like a full bodysuit, and then that contrast of the orange is that pop of color.
Mm-mm.
no. Here's the real truth. I think she came out in that bodysuit, and somebody said, "Girl, you look too bad." And by bad, I mean, "Girl, you're looking on fire.
And
You
they
are
said,
looking
"Put
on
some
fire,
orange."
girl." I show her little boyfriend.
Nope.
Every time I see him, I just say this little boyfriend because he ain't a serious boyfriend. That's just me, Osaka. That's just
Oh,
me.
stop it.
Anyway, when I say
So-
serious, I mean like anyway. I think he look like Kid, not like Criss Cross. He looks like Criss Cross wannabe. That's every time I see him. I
Oh
think
my
Criss Cross.
god.
But I
okay.
think she puts on the skirt because she's trying to be a little chaste. But that skirt does not. That skirt
Instead of a
never.
full bodysuit.
That skirt was never
I
designed to go
never-
with that thing. Nope.
I
the
never
bodysuit
ever
is
like.
better.
I never like a pleated skirt on the tennis court. I like it. It
Oh, I love
it
a
reminds
pleated
me of
skirt.
Caroline Wozniacki, and we all know how I feel about that.
I love a pleated. You know what? Can I tell you though? It photographs beautifully.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's
pleated
the thing.
pleated skirts work well if you've got a big butt. So
Hi,
No,
Lola.
Yeah, it
they-
makes your ass look bigger.
no.
No,
It brings a little shade. It's when
exactly,
yeah.
it does.
So
gives-
speaking, no.
Oh, sorry,
Back to-
Serena's kit.
I'm gonna say
Serena's
something
hit.
Jane, that I don't know, but netball for most the other of us know what netball is. A pleated skirt, a mini pleated skirt is the thing to go. So it does work well.
I will also say I do not enjoy Serena's kit because I wanted her to go with the high leg.
So this is
You want
my
it to be
thing with
high leg
Serena's
emoji.
kit. Serena's kit looks absolutely fucking amazing in photographs. It
Mhm.
does not look good while she's playing. I worry about what it could look like when she's playing. I don't want her to end up with a fucking camel toe. I just don't like it. But I think that's the truth. That when I first saw that, I was like, oh shit, this is going to end poorly. But I see it in pictures and it looks amazing. However, all of that being said, I think that it's a statement piece of look at my body. You have not seen my body look this damn good in a long time. We see the sculpting of the arms that we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, you could bounce quarters off those abs. She looks freaking amazing. She is fit as fuck and she wants everybody to see it. And I'm here for that. But I don't like it on court. I don't like
I
her
don't like the color
tugging at
scheme,
it.
per se.
I don't like the 80s color blocking, but apparently the 80s are back in many ways. I mean, we should have just left that. If the Big Bangs come back, we're all totally fucked. But I don't like how it looks when she's playing. But when I see it in pictures, when she's serving or when she's stretched out, it looks phenomenal because you see every little contour of her body, and her body is banging. But
also,
no.
yeah, I completely agree because, particularly when you see her go up on serve, the kit aligns. The flow of the pattern on the kit is completely different when she's actually playing, and it's very similar. You remember when she won in 2017 at the Australian Open, and she was wearing that zebra kit.
Mm.
When you see the zebra kit, if you photograph her from either the side or the back when she's receiving serve and she's bending over, all of the pattern lines up. It's beautiful. It's really superbly designed, actually. And you're right. That's what it's designed for. It'll photograph really, really well. Also, I like it because it's made of that wicking material, so it's perforated, and you only see that if you get really close up. And
it carries sweat well. Let's just also not talk about
which is unlike
don't do that. That's horrible.
Which is unlike which is unlike some of the women's kits this time. You saw what
Sabalenka.
The first thing
it just make you look like you have a big belly, like a belly bump.
It's not just that. The top, the color. The first thing that happens is you see sweaty tits.
That's all you see.
The first thing you see is sweaty tits.
Sweaty tits. That's it, and you can't help but to see it because it's right in your face.
Yeah, it's that kind of buff color, and then they've got that kind of 1970s A-line skirt that goes with it, which is that is a crime. I mean, that's criminal to put that on somebody. It is a fashion crime. It really is. And also the top has a zip up.
Right?
Puts that on
How weird is that?
Open? No, it's just horrendous. That kit.
Let me tell you something. I mean, I have a question. You think Naomi put on that skirt because Serena too was wearing a bodysuit and she didn't want to come out with a bodysuit like Serena?
No, I think that skirt was part of the outfit and it was just horrible.
And she also didn't want to come out and show that she had flat abs, bitches. Okay,
I know she does exactly. No. That's why that skirt is not on her waist, but on her stomach. That's why she's.
But you know what the most disappointing thing is overall, fashion-wise, no one in particular. It is getting so old and washed out that these companies cannot do something. Serena never looks like anybody else ever. Nobody ever has her kit. Never, ever, ever. And then every other player shares the same two damn things. And it doesn't matter if it's Adidas or New Balance or Nike.
Yeah, they should
change the damn colors.
I think they just rush for the money. And
I mean, that's ridiculous.
But I think
but hang on. There's a big difference here. Serena's kit is designed not to be sold to anybody else.
Yeah.
What she sells is the diffusion that comes from her brand. So the t-shirts.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Unstoppable Queens. So, and that's where they make their money. They have to. New Balance designs these kits so that other people will go and buy them from the stores. So they have to.
Can we at least put two players on court in the same exact kit?
New Balance has the best kits, but also
they're so cute.
Yeah. They have the best model because it's Coco, but
there's another girl too. I think someone else. Apparently, New Balance looked at their players and say, "We're going to give you something that fits you." Now here's a shipment that just came in last night and then just mix and match like that's not me.
They're generally cute. You know what? I usually like the Adidas on women. I don't know. And who the hell thought Zverev should wear a sleeveless shirt? Who thought that was a good idea?
Well, because they thought he was going to look like Michael Moe, and then they were
my God, help me.
Firstly, his skin color is completely wrong for that top. Secondly, he looks like
washed out.
He looks like a dressed piece of spaghetti.
It's so bad. It is so bad.
It's just like they threw a sheath on a piece of spaghetti. It's horrible.
He looks like a Con Hubs doll. That's what he looks like. That's what I was trying to
say. I'll be honest. I haven't seen Rafa. Let me see. What's he wearing? Pink?
He looks fine. Rafa looks fine. He looks like Rafa.
Decent kit. Decent. Ordinary.
Yeah.
Decent.
I have no complaints about Rafa's kit.
Says Zverev look like a shrimp.
I don't, but you know what? Can we talk about the fact that Dominique Thiem has decided to become the new Burditch with shirts? What's going on with that ugly outfit?
No.
You know what? I actually like Dominique's shirt. It's the only thing about him I liked.
But several players are wearing it.
I know.
Several players are wearing that.
I don't even know what's on it. Is it like a cityscape? I didn't really get a good look.
It's environmental thing.
I think it's something meant to honor Australia too, I think.
Yeah, and environmental, and it's 100% recycled plastic.
Oh. Well, it looks like plastic, so that's...
No. But it doesn't hit the mark, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's off. It's
you know who that would look good on? A black person.
Well, you know who would be wearing something fabulous? Federer, but he's not here. So let's just move on because the top men look like shit in their outfits.
Oh wait.
You forget. Grigor just has on a white Nike shirt. That's all Grigor's wearing.
Oh,
yeah. Some of the Nike guys have come out with just simple, plain, one color shirts.
There is this
nice,
guy.
Simple.
Novak Djokovic
looks the wall. That French
exactly
kid.
The same.
There's a French kid. I swear he looked like he's rabid. I swear he looks like he's about to bite someone's throat at any moment.
Are you talking Moutet? Who's wearing his army
yes, Moutet looks like he's ready for Desert Storm. I don't know which war he's fighting.
Yeah, I know. He's as I tweeted, he's back from his second tour of Iraq. He's wearing his camouflage and yeah.
You know who has a good kit? Nick Kyrgios has a good kit.
Nick looks good.
Oh no. That color block stuff from
you don't like the color block
1980s. No.
And Nick throws off every outfit he's wearing when he's wearing that cream color knee sleeve or thigh sleeves or leg sleeve.
And did you see this time he wore a leg sleeve? So he had one brown leg, one brown leg, and one pink leg.
Exactly.
It looked like someone had skinned him.
Listen, it looked like he belonged in like a nursing home going through freaking rehab.
He had varicose veins. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, and I have to say, Novak Djokovic looks the same.
Yes, Felix did look good. Not his tennis, but definitely he just looked good. What he was wearing, everything.
He looked good. Michael Moe looked good while it lasted. I mean, that was just the muscle.
Yeah, but he has the body to carry that.
Outfit. Yeah, that was lovely. We should
take notes, Zverev.
And Zverev have no shame. I mean, the minute when I saw Michael Moe came out, that's going to change my clothes. I was like, look, I ain't putting out here in this. Are you kidding me?
I can't stand next to him.
It's true, though. They should have said that.
I don't want a photograph be out here looking at this kind of thing. I mean, no, that's not gonna happen. Just like, someone get me a t-shirt, get me a towel, something, get me a hoodie.
Shit, get me a robe.
We're not doing this.
All right, guys, it's time for live tennis, so we should probably wrap it up.
For live tennis,
okay, before we go, I just wanted to ask people's opinions of one thing, which I'm all in favor of, and I think it's made a huge difference. Electronic line calling.
Oh my God, yes.
I quite like it.
I do wonder how many people have just lost their jobs because it's working quite well.
No, it's not actually working quite well. It's not.
It is working well.
I think there have been iffy calls because there have been calls where I can clearly see the line after the ball.
How's that any different from a live eye?
No, but I mean,
and also, come on, let's be honest. There's times your eyes are not as fast as.
No, absolutely. I mean, no.
I'll tell you why it's working. It's working. It's working because the players are not arguing. We get a call, we move on. That's right. Why it's working.
But here's the thing. The problem with Hawkeye has always been is that the tennis ball moves way too fast for them to actually capture the thing.
No.
Tell him, Pablo.
No. The way Hawkeye works is it doesn't matter what the speed is. Hawkeye can manage it. Hawkeye uses mathematical models to
predict the trajectory, the likely trajectory.
No. To fully match. They don't predict. They fully match the curve fit of the ball as it travels through the air. And they take into all sorts of accounts of when the ball bounces, how it becomes an oblate spheroid and spreads and everything. It is the mathematics behind it is really wonderful, lovely, if you're into that kind of thing. And it is far, far more accurate than the human eye by a long way. And it stopped people arguing. It stopped games being held up and sportsmanship and stuff like this.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
It is nice for that.
Running on it, and nobody's really disputing it,
right?
Because they know it's been called by Hawkeye.
Yeah, and also the thing about it that's interesting too is that, like, you just have to process what's happened and move quickly. Like that's
exactly.
It's like. Yeah. You know, like it was match point down or something for Osaka, and she was like, "Okay, just keep on going." You know,
keep on playing.
It's nice.
Yeah,
what's his name mentioned something, and it's true. You can see the mark on the court. Simone mentions that you can see the mark, and sometimes it's wrong. But the crazy thing about
We're always going to have wrong calls.
But here's the
Always.
problem I have with Simon's argument. Why is that? Boo, we're going to use the same system to find out whether or not the person was right or wrong. So we're back there.
And it's also not right or wrong specifically. It's a degree. To a certain degree, right? That's always been.
And what Hawkeye does is it narrows the margin of error on a call. So it may not get the call exactly right, but it's only going to be wrong 3 percentage points either side. Whereas with the human eye, it could be 7 or 8%.
Also, I think the biggest problem is with the clay. I think the system isn't necessarily that good on the clay.
The technology will improve. If they continue to use this, the technology will continually get better. And I mean, it should, you know.
Well, I'm glad it's on all codes.
I can't wait until we tell the lines person. I can't wait until the electronic lines person is racist, though.
And another reason. No, hang on. Another reason why I like the electronic line calling, because it calls foot faults as well.
Yes,
it did. I saw that. Yeah.
Fanini lost his mind. Fanini's like, what? What?
As if he needs one more reason to lose his mind.
No, someone said the thing actually read foot. The thing actually said footfall. The thing didn't even say fall. It said footfall. Fanini was just like,
yeah,
look good though.
I had never seen that before, so that was that's interesting.
And it's the one call. It was the one call in tennis that you couldn't challenge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And umpires wouldn't even challenge foot fault calls. They would never. Umpires never overruled a foot fault call.
Well, I mean, listen. You're right. It's a couple of jobs. Listen, automation. A couple of jobs have been lost. And I mean, I can tell that Chrissy misses it because she's like, "Oh, the personality's not there," because that was a part of the game for them, right? It's a
no. They're supposed to not have any damn personality. You sit there with your hands.
Well, I mean, I think what you could do is reposition those people for something else, right? You've got to like prep them for some other part.
Yeah, they can be ticket takers.
No,
and also, but the other important point is they're not going to get a ball in the throat.
Well, I mean,
Novak definitely benefits.
What are we
doesn't get qualified.
You can also train these people to be more umpires, right? You can get a much more structured, organized umpiring and pay them more money. Because
let's y'all, what matches have started? What's on tap right now? Tell us.
I'll tell you right now.
I don't know.
And what is the score before we roll out? I see that
Pegula and Svitolina are playing right now, and Svitolina has the first game. It's on serve. Pegula is serving to open her service campaign.
How fabulous! Look at that.
Medvedev and McDonald's at 8:30 Eastern time. I don't know much. I think it's like 2:30 your time.
No, I see it. It's 5:30. 5:30 my time. So it's coming up.
So it's going to be second up.
Yeah. And then Rafa is at 8 p.m. my time. So I guess I might watch that match, but only if
I'll be sleeping.
Only if Fognini shows up to do something good. Otherwise, she's going to do that. Just to at least make it competitive.
Please.
Okay. Well, this is good to see. I mean, and Donna Beck is at 5:15, y'all. And Elise Mertens and Mukuba at 11 p.m. my time, which is West Coast time. So
I wake up in the morning and check the scores.
I'll wake up and someone will still be playing.
It's 2 a.m. for you. Okay, and we can already see that Svitolina has decided that she's going to try to break as many times as possible.
Well,
all right.
We'll see how it all ends up, and we'll be back here next week and see how we did.
Same time, same bat station. We'll be talking about the finals.
Thanks for joining us, Pablo.
Because the Australian Open would basically finish like early Sunday morning at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, but I'll probably have something to do. Don't you worry.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It'll probably be Monday sometime. It's been lovely, y'all. I mean,
thank you guys.
A wonderful show. Get some sleep, please.
Yes, Pablo.
I will do my best.
Thanks for staying up with us.
I know. Thanks for joining.
It's my pleasure.
I absolutely adore the question about the Lion's Call because I think it's going to be controversial.
And Pablo, since there's a pandemic, make sure they don't eat all the Cadbury's. I need you to be like having a, stacking up, like holding Cadbury chocolate to me, okay?
Don't you worry, sweetie.
I love fruit and nut.
Okay, before we all log off, everyone place your bets in the chat. Who are your winners? Who are your winners?
Deb, you can't pick Fed because he's not here. I mean, he's always.
Deb. Listen, I'm gonna say that Medvedev is gonna get his maiden Grand Slam. I'm gonna say that. I am gonna put it out there. He is gonna overcome all the injuries and win it. And he is gonna be holding up that trophy next to the great Serena.
Wow, look at you. Go ahead, Pablo. Who you got? The end.
I'm going for Serena. And no, I'm not going to say Karatsev for the men's.
Then I know you're really crazy, Pablo.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Janina Medvedev.
What? Bad.
Only because the two, number one, number two, the so-called question marks over fitness. And so far, this demon Russian has been. He's held himself together, and I think even he's the betting favorite. So,
I'm picking Osaka,
Serena, and Grigor.
Oh, come on, y'all are silly.
Oh my god!
I'm picking Osaka.
I don't trust Grigor. I don't trust Grigor.
I don't even know what to
do.
He
could get to the final. He could be up. He could be up 2 sets in serving for it, and
I'm okay. I'm
picking my
pandemic. I'm picking my pandemic boyfriend, which was Grigor. So
all right,
that is
true. You got Reels.
I mean, I don't even know what to do, and Reels is the point of sanity in this group now. This is insane. I mean,
who you got?
Andrew said Rina on Naomi and Rafael Nadal. Well, no.
Okay.
No. That's what Andrew said. But I think all of these men are destined to be one slam they can only get one trophy for. Fed is French, Nole is French, and Rafa is the Australian Open. So I don't think Rafa is winning any more Melbourne titles. So I am gonna go with, unfortunately, Novak. This is the only thing. You know what? Nole's been dropping the ball. So okay. I guess I'm gonna have to say Medvedev.
Meds? That's a good slam for Meds. It'd be a good slam for Meds. Look at y'all for Meds.
It will be the tragic slam.
And everyone is picking Serena. So I
say tragic because he was telling his coach off in French. His coach is French.
So I'm going to say Serena / Naomi. Whoever comes out of that. Bottom thing,
Yeah, I
please
agree.
No Halep. Please no Halep. Just no Halep.
Someone will handle Halep. Don't you worry.
Lovely, y'all. It's been real. Let's go get some good tennis watching in. We get to stay up late.
Rafa, Nole final as usual. Give me a break with these injuries. See, Dima, this is why I love you. This is why I love you, Dima. Thank you. We're not sponsored by DraftKings. Oh, Pablo. If you want to really show me love, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And remember, if you don't have a loved one to hold you, apparently this, if you don't have a loved one to hold you, have a seatbelt hold you. I mean, I saw a meme saying that's not right. That's not right, people, because I walk. I walk. But Pablo, thank you for your love. But you can show me your love with
some fruit and nuts.
Fruit and nuts. No, Cadbury fruit and nut, Pablo. Cadbury fruit and nut.
Yeah, I know.
I know you, Pablo. And when you come to New York, I'm gonna get you a drink. If you can come back, if you could even travel. If you could even travel, who knows? This pandemic.
Damn, Pablo, you are lucky because he doesn't ever want to meet anyone.
Yeah, I know.
I just want to meet you, Janina. That's just it. I'm sure it's just you.
Peace out. Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out, everyone.
A-town up. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.